Oh, boy. We are traveling to Boston. I just gave our merchandise to Andy. He's driving out tomorrow.
Perfect.
And then I think I'm getting together with Vinny tomorrow for a bonus show. He hasn't gotten back to me. Tomorrow is Vinteenth, if you forgot.
Oh, it's also Carlmas.
It is Carlmas, but I mentioned that to my wife this week, and she'd forgotten. So I think that's going by the wayside.
I think it's a surprise.
Pretty busy these days. I don't know that I need a lot of surprises. But, yeah, I think I'm doing a bonus show with Vinny. He's driving out Friday.
So he'll get the tech.
Dick and Johnny are going to be there Friday morning. We're going to cruise into Boston Friday evening, and then we got to find out where we're going to meet up with people.
That's a big question mark.
I will announce it in our Discord server. There's a live meetup thing. What's the name of that channel where we talk about where we're meeting up?
I think it's the meetup.
It is called WATP Meetup. So I'll put it in there. I'll also put it out on my X, which I was called out for calling it X on The Biggest Problem.
Why were you called out?
I guess I'm supposed to call it Twitter still, which I was for a long time, but now I guess
can't please anyone.
I know. It's just not working. I was accused of being a Elon Musk ball washer for calling it X, apparently.
I like that we've all reached the phase now where we don't care what we call it as long as we're allowed to freely hate it.
Yes. I'm not a big fan of social media. WATS tomorrow at 6 p.m. with Blind Mike Geary. I'll be talking about social media right here on this very channel.
Try and stop me.
We have so much to talk about today. I don't know why these Wednesdays creep up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so much going on. So many things that we have to cover. So much in the Dabbleverse.
A lot of drama.
A lot of drama, of course. That's a big part of it. But also, this ski mask thing is very sad.
Yeah, I just caught that before I got here.
So,
or at least Cardiff.
Yeah, Hellraiser69 with $5 says, my condolences to the ski mask family. Chad is a sad excuse of a man. So apparently, the story is, ski mask was found by his father the day after Father's Day. He's 30 years old, and he has passed away. And I met ski mask at Chrissy Mayer's wedding. He seemed like a pretty cool guy. We talked a bit and hung out. He wasn't blackout drunk like he had been on streams that I'd seen him on previously, so that was probably helpful. But I'll never forget my main, and I don't know if this is a good memory to talk about when someone passes away, but this is my main memory of ski mask, because him and I were like DMing about things. We had appeared on shows together and stuff. I remember he invited me on his show, and I wasn't sure. I was happy to go in, but I'm like, am I going into enemy territory? What's going on? I had no idea what the alliances were. You know, that's going back years into MLC lore and all sorts of shit. But they were really cool. And Ski Mask was always really cool to me. So I'll never forget, there was a year or two ago, Ski Mask whipped his dick out during a live stream. It was, people were talking about it. So I DM'd him and I go, hey man, I heard you pulled your dick out or you got naked or something like that during a live stream. Everything good? And he wrote back, give me a call when you can. And I never messaged him again. I was just looking for like, what's your take on this?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't looking to like get into it with you. I'm not a therapist.
And that's when he reached out to Skinny Chad. Send him the pants immediately.
He needed those pants.
It would explain a lot.
But I liked Ski Mask. Very sad to see that. Only 30 years old.
Yeah, that's a sad story, man.
Hearns 55, member for 2 months. Did you hear about SteelToe violating his bail release conditions? Do you think he's going to jail for his 90-day suspended sentence for restraining order? Now, should he, based on what I saw come out today? Yeah, I think so. I think under his conditions of the HRO, he had from August or September, he had a calendar year to not get into any other trouble. And if he did, there would be, is it 90 days or 30 days in jail? Something like that.
Either way.
I mean, there's a big difference. No. I'm like something like that. Either 30 or 3 times as much.
Well, anyone else, it would bother, but he's going to have a relaxing reading kind of time.
He loves it. He loves it in jail. Yeah, they treat him so good.
Already? Oh, guys.
Right. So, yeah, I'm going to talk about it on the show today. some new information has come out, and I got some information from Nick about what Kayla received from the Stearns County.
Shit has come to light.
Yeah, it's I think it's real. And it's funny because you go on subreddits and stuff, and people have their sides and they have their teams, and they're like, yeah, he's going to go to jail, and blah, blah, blah. It's just like, all right, we're not rooting for people to go to jail. We're not rooting for, I'm not anyway. Other people can if they want to. But seriously.
Carl says we can. Yeah,
Whatever you want to do. It's just, it doesn't seem like any of these things ever come to fruition.
Sure.
It looks foolish. I go on subreddits where people are predicting that my downfall. I'm like,
What's your downfall?
news to me. I had no idea this was happening.
Do I kill you?
Why, were you writing that?
No.
That's exactly what it said.
But I'm taking suggestions.
Fan fiction. Is that what you're up to?
No. There's plenty of other people doing that.
I'll tell you one thing I have no tolerance for, and that is people slowing down this program. We have so much to get to.
Now, take it easy.
People are
Remember
going,
your condition.
I know. People are going. I took my medication. I'm okay.
Okay.
People are going to supertip.gg/WATP, and they're donating to the show to participate in the show and to support it. And while that seems like a noble gesture on any other day,
Yeah, any other day.
I would say, oh, this is great. Please keep it coming. But today we have so much to get to. There's so much happening as the Dabbleverse turns. It's going to be very difficult to get to everything, including Modern Haze coming in.
Hey, Lady K, I gave my daughter a 12-inch hog instead of a 6-inch hog. Gay GI up.
Does anyone get that? Detroit Dabbler coming in.
Don't forget who the real victim is in Ski Mask's death. He attacked me once just for threatening his girlfriend. What the hell?
Okay, yeah, let's talk about that. I watched Cardiff's show today, and Cardiff did a nice job of breaking down Chad's show from this morning. Chad came out at 9 a.m. to revel in the fact that Ski Mask had passed away. And he was all excited. He's like, give me money. This is a grift to celebrate his death, and I'm not giving him any money, so just give it to me. And he made $51 because that's disgusting, and people aren't excited about that kind of thing. And I saw him tweet afterwards. In fact, I have the tweet. Why don't I show it? I think I have it here. I saw the tweet afterwards.
Take your time.
Maybe I didn't save it. Because I wasn't going to do a Chad segment today. That's probably why. But he was just talking about how you guys don't get the joke. The joke was that he wasn't actually celebrating it, but he's pretending to because the guy died, and that would be distasteful.
The way John was doing that kind of avant-garde humor about his brother getting killed by that.
Oh, but
car.
that's not cool. That's
No,
not
it was
cool.
the same kind of Andy Kaufman-esque, humor.
Chad Buzmak already put out a video that's brilliant. I haven't watched it all, but it shows the hypocrisy of Chad when Kevin Brennan's brother passed away, and someone put a video out of the services or something, and Chad's going, this is not cool, guys. If someone died, and this is what we're doing, we're putting this out as content. And then immediately he's on there celebrating Ski Mask. So the reason why he justifies his hatred for Ski Mask is because he says that this guy got me banned from the Comedy Zone, all the Comedy Zone locations, and almost got me deported from the Bahamas. And of course, there's a reason why things like that happen to Chad, and he did let it slip during his program this morning.
Because he's a victim and there's a conspiracy against him.
No, not even close. Actually, what happened was Chad called Ski Mask's girlfriend fat and then threatened to get her fired from her job. Okay. He was going to dox her. I think she was a teacher or something. He was going to dox her and get her fired. And he's like, but I wasn't really going to do that. It's like, and so they called a comedy club and told about your criminal past, and the authorities looked into it and tried to decide whether you should be in a different country or not.
The cop said you weren't funny, so you can't perform.
Yes.
They
Comedy
like to see your
police.
act. Yeah. Perform your act for us. We'll decide.
Yeah, right. They pull him over.
It's just incredible that Chad is always the victim. He's such a crybaby in every single way, where he pretends to be this victim. But then when you break it down, you're like, oh, so you said something really shitty to him and you wanted to get a reaction, and then you did, and now you're upset about it. And now he's the bad guy, and you're allowed to celebrate his death. Cool, man.
He says clearly in our interview together that as soon as you start fucking with someone's job, as soon as you start trying to get people fired, that's when things are real. It's
Yep.
no longer a joke, and there are real consequences. I tuned in this morning, and I didn't know he had died, so I didn't know what I was looking at, and it took a long time to process that this was actually happening, that this wasn't some kind of weird, revenge fantasy, that somebody had died, and his initial instinct was, gotta make some money off this as quickly as possible, and make anyone that might feel bad about this feel even worse.
Yes.
Would he have tweeted out the same message if he had made a ton of money?
Well, what happened was, like, Cardiff and all these people were giving him shit for it. Oh, that was the other thing, too. He goes, and I'm leaving this up. If you guys think that I'm worried about this kind of stuff, I'm leaving it. He took it down immediately.
Yeah.
And so thank God Cardiff had it.
Or half of it.
Or, yeah, some of it. And, the Clippers, like Chad Buzmak and stuff, have it, so that's good. But he took it down, and so people are giving him shit about it online, and so he's defending himself and trying to say, like, no, he's just an edgy comic, just doing dark humor, guys. There was no attempt, and this is the truth of all of Chad's broadcasts, not a single attempt at a joke.
No
just,
jokes.
Just vicious. Just fuck this guy. I'm glad he's dead. Like, all right, that's cool. Gilbert Gottfried waited a day or two after 9/11 to joke around about it, but this guy learned about it last night and went, I'm setting up a live stream first thing in the morning, and I'm getting on there. And he really thought it was going to be a big grift for him, but it didn't work out. He only made $51 from what I've heard.
He really thought this was going to be a train of people catching on to support this, thinking this was hilarious?
I don't know what he thinks.
Good question.
I honestly don't know what's going on between those ear canals.
Did you hear Ski Mask died? Yeah, what are we doing about it? We're giving Chad money. Oh, okay, yeah. Let me sign up for that.
Well, they were rivals. When's the last time Chad talked about ski mask? I don't know. Months.
I was going to send flowers, but maybe Chad could use some cash.
It's incredible. Well, you need guys like Chad. You need the villains in the Dabbleverse, I suppose.
You do.
It helps us do what we do over here at WATP, which, by the way, Tom Myers was in our comment section. I posted the most recent video we did of his live stream, and he responded to that. I can't wait to.
Okay.
I can't wait to talk. We'll do it during the show.
He said, you guys got my number.
Guilty as charged. Podcast, Karen. Guilty as charged. And then he quit podcasting and comedy. The restaurant business is really where I shine anyway, is what he said.
Is that what happened to Skinny Chad? Did Skinny Chad disappear?
I hope not.
Well, he kind of announced a Phil Elmore-esque, I'm taking a break, everybody.
Oh.
And then all of these episodes played out, and I know he's very sensitive about it, and there's been no response, no remarks, and I know Boston is coming.
I hope we see him in Boston.
Well, or we don't. Either way, I hope he's well,
I hope he's
and
well.
we're well, and I don't think
Yeah.
there's anything wrong with, keeping an eye out for him and hoping he's happy and doing well, because I was concerned when we hadn't heard from him, I wanted him to fight back or
Yeah.
something.
We should almost talk about this offline.
Maybe I'm getting too. I've had some experiences in the past that maybe,
Skinny Chad's a great guy. Hope we get to hang out with him.
and
in
a
Boston
great artist. Hope he's there.
this
Enjoy a beer.
weekend.
Anyway,
Yes. Let's get into the show proper, shall we? Thank you all for being here to watch the live show with us.
You see, this is a we just do it kind of show.
Joe, you ever kill anybody?
Episode
631.
Are you a boner guy?
Oh, I was a boner guy.
You know what? I miss penis.
What are you talking about?
I'm the one who should apologize.
Is it going to be absolutely riveting? Is it going to change your life by any stretch? Probably not, but it's going to be at least entertaining, okay?
By the way, for those people that are in the back, remember to shut the fuck up.
Cuz-a-roo.
Slap-a-rooney.
It's showtime.
WATP.
WATP.
Hello, Rubbernecks and Cuzzaroos. Welcome to another episode of Who Are These Podcasts, the only show that has ourselves in the death pool. I'm your host, Carl. With me every Wednesday, Chrissy Mayer recently accused him of dabbling in acting. It's Adam Busch.
I'm accusing Chrissy of dabbling in politics. Happy to be here.
Producer Chris is here as well.
Hey, guys.
Please go to whoarethese.com. That's where you get our email address, the voicemail number, the link to our subreddit, the link to our Discord server, the link to our merchandise, link to our YouTube channel, and that link to Patreon and Supercast featuring 2 exclusive bonus episodes every single month. And you support the show that way. You also get the audio for when I host This Little Piggy and Point Dabble Point, and when I'm on with the Drew Lane show like I just was yesterday. We had a fantastic episode on Drew Lane where we covered Alex Cooper, Call Her Daddy. She just had a documentary drop for some reason. This 25-year-old chick needed this someone to document her life. And it's a 2-parter where she talks about getting sexually harassed at Boston University by her soccer coach. It's pretty deep stuff.
Yeah.
All I can think of is how brilliant and spot on the Meghan Markle episode of South Park was, where they go in and they label everyone 3 things. You're an actress, you're an entrepreneur, and you're a victim. Like everyone has to be a victim. It's like Alex Cooper couldn't be less of a fucking victim. Get over it. The best form of revenge is living a great life. And she's talking about getting picked on in school and getting bullied because she was a redhead and skinny.
Right.
Shut up.
Trucker Andy was breaking this down for me at our traditional Friday lunch, and it was hilarious. He said there's tons of shit missing from this documentary.
Oh, of course, because she's the one who created it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So it's like victim first, and then some other stuff happened.
Oh, and so I watched her podcast where she explained how it all happened. And not to get too in the weeds, but check out Drew Lane's show. Check out my segment on there. And like I said, if you're on our Patreon, you get this stuff beamed to your smartphone every Tuesday night. I put up the audio of it. There's a video of it on YouTube as well. But it's crazy. She wasn't going to bring up the sexual harassment stuff that happened at Boston University, but the director of the documentary went, well, let's just go to your alma mater and just, go out on the soccer pitch and we'll just see what that's like. We'll just see if you have any emotional reactions. She gets to the field and breaks down crying. Oh my gosh, it brought her back to being 18 and helpless, even though she has all the money and resources in the world now. She could think about how helpless she was.
And totally knew that was coming and had tons of time to prep for it.
No one fucking buys it.
Yeah.
And it could have been a real thing that she could have shed some light on. And instead, I think it was exactly like you described. The director looked at this thing and went, I don't have a movie. Like, girl starts podcast, super successful. Like, I need some drama. I need something. And I think they found a real serious event in her life and blew it up to the point of like Star Wars, where it was just this cinematic, like huge event that really the tone of it undermined anybody who's actually gone through stuff like that and made it feel real silly.
Yes. And there's a lot more to it as well. Like 99 other soccer players who played for this coach came out and put together a written statement saying that this is not the case at all, or not their experience with this coach. And we weren't happy with Alex dragging her name through the mud. She's now retired from Boston University. She can't harm any more attractive ladies. So that's good to know. But anyway, that was a good time with Drew. And when you get on our Patreon and you support the show, you get perks like that coming through along with our bonus episodes. 2 bonus episodes. I'm not including the Drew Lane stuff. I'm not including This Little Piggy and Point Dabble Point. You get all that stuff. We throw it all in. Also, we will be in Detroit at the Magic Bag. Go to themagic.bag.com for tickets, or there's a link on our homepage at whoarethese.com. Get the tickets because we're already more than halfway sold out. They just went on sale. It's September 12th. So it's definitely going to sell out. Dave Landau's going to be there, Drew Lane and the gang. So check that out. Also, we are live in Boston this weekend, June 21st, WTPlive.com. There still are a couple of tickets that you can purchase. If you're in the area, come by, hang out with us. We'll all be there. We got the whole gang coming in. And Blind Mike's going to be there. Dick Masterson, Johnny the audio engineer. Tab just invited himself last minute. Tab's crashing at our Airbnb. So he'll be there. So you got room for me? I'm like, probably not. But
No, I don't think we do, actually, Tab.
Well, then Ray's going to have to sleep in the backyard now.
Yeah, right. Poor Ray. So yeah, come to Boston this weekend, this Saturday night, June 21st, WTVlive.com. Also, we encourage our listeners to give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and shit all over us in the comments section. Today, so much to talk about. We'll be checking in on Ken Tamplin.
Hey.
Tom Myers leaving comments under our video clowning him. SteelToe's mommy wrote a note to the judge explaining how great her little boy has become. Joey C. interviewed Adam Busch for almost 4 hours, and we're going to watch every second of it.
The whole thing.
Texas is getting worse for Brendan Schaub. Opie is finally asked a question by Ron the waiter we actually are interested in hearing the answer of. Stuttering John was on the Mike Kelta program on Tuesday morning. Also, we have Review Girls coming in for another round of 2 minutes with Tom. But first, Stuttering John actually made 2 appearances this week, and one of them was on TV on Gulf Coast News, ABC 7 in Naples. Have you seen this yet, Adam?
I've seen some of it, yes.
This is very exciting. I always like when John's being interviewed to promote a stand-up gig because he feels like he has to be on, he has to be funny, but he also is always flirting with any female that's on set. He's always being very flirtatious, and we could all draw our own conclusions, whether that's part of like an act that he does. Are you not buying that, is what you're saying, Chris?
He just sprays it anywhere and wants to see what happens, you know?
Okay. Well, the way that this appearance starts, it's a 5-minute appearance on a morning news, local morning news show where they're just filling time. They're talking about weather and traffic and what schools are open, whatever it is, who knows. So they bring him on in their What to Do segment, and he is already cracking up.
We're already laughing.
Don't worry about that.
You're all good.
That's extremely unprofessional. This is a man who went to NYU, didn't graduate, but went to NYU, talks about TV and film, and should have media training at this point. And the segment starts, and he's dying laughing.
He's so far behind the times, he doesn't realize that this is a meme. This is a joke that's already been played to death, the fake laughing as we come back from commercial break. It's so known that the hosts are not joining him.
Right.
He looks like a salamander, just with his mouth open, cracking up by himself.
The male host is very professional because he's hearing the countdown in 5, 4, 3. And it's just like, what are we doing? We're still cracking up over here, you idiot.
Yeah.
What an amazing anecdote. Now you tell one.
Have you ever come back on the Tonight Show and Jay Leno's just cracking up over something that we don't know about? Hey, just a minute, guys. I'm sorry. Someone just told me this really funny anecdote. I'll be right with you.
I think it's the movie Anchorman where they're like, we're having fun. We're having a good time. We're good friends. We like each other. And then they go back. That's what he thinks this is. No, they're actually just doing their job, John.
What did you say he looked like, Adam?
I don't know, some
A
kind of
salamander.
lizard thing.
Okay.
His mouth is frozen open.
I'm glad you brought that up because, yes, I did zoom in and slow it down. Let's see what this looks like.
Thank God. Very good.
That's the kind of laugh that only comes out when John's cracking himself up. I guarantee he said something that he really tickled him.
Well, if you're watching, check out the posture afterwards. He's so insecure. He's like this.
Yes. Oh, yeah, his posture is awful. And he lives in Florida, so his nice clothes should be with him. It's not like he had to pack a button-up shirt for television on this one. All right, so John has bought a boat, as he keeps telling everyone who will listen.
Has he?
No, but he keeps telling people he has. And so he wants to brag about that.
John Melendez.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to the neighborhood.
Yeah.
You moved here. I'm so psyched.
I just moved here. I got here in July, and I'm loving it. I just bought a boat, and as you know, we were just talking about. It's so cool that when you're on your boat cruising and the dolphins are just jumping right behind you, it's just amazing.
Oh man, this dye job.
Yeah,
he
what's going
really
on
should have got a glaze before these TV appearances. Old man John over here, not looking great. So they go, how do you like it here in Florida? You're living down here now, right? How do you like it? And he goes to a thing that just happened to him. I was on a boat and there were dolphins that we saw. It's like, if he was enjoying his time in Florida, that would not be his first response to that.
Right. He got there in July, so 11 months, and that's the freshest thing.
That's the only thing he could think of that makes it good living in Florida.
That's what you'd see on the postcard from someone
Right.
visiting there. That's all he knows about it.
Yeah, that'd be like your vacation highlight. Like, oh my gosh, dolphins were jumping. I got a video of it.
Yeah.
Cool. But you
How
live
do you
here.
like living here?
How do you like living here?
It's a
How's that
local
going?
news show. Hit us with some commentary, buddy.
Yeah. All right. So then they're talking about his career, and they're going through all the highlights. Man, you were on the Howard Stern show. You were on the Tonight Show. It's pretty impressive. And so he follows this up with a question. And I was watching this on the Uncle Rico show last night. Anthony Cumia was on. They were watching this, and they had the bingo cards out. And they had all the different, what are John's canned answers? What's he going to say? I don't even think they had this on their bingo cards because they were not expecting it to go in this direction.
Did you mean for this to happen, or did you just kind of like keep going? And
I was in first grade. I was a star of our play, and always in all district band and all district chorus, and always like the battle of bands in high school.
Sure.
Like,
it's unbelievable.
Our play in the first grade. Our play.
I was a writer.
He co-wrote it, probably. Yeah.
It's the play in the play.
Could you imagine? I would think, Adam, you probably started acting at a pretty early age. We saw you on television at an early age, but
on our show, on our TV show.
Yeah, right. So I assume that you did some acting in elementary school, probably.
I did.
At what point do you stop using that as a credit?
I can't remember. I know I did something. I know it was something. I don't remember what it was, but I'm sure I stole it. It was brilliant, and the reason I'm here now.
It's mind-boggling. That's where John's... So, did you plan this whole career out the way that it's played out? Well, it's funny you asked that in first grade, and then in second grade.
It is just dawning on me now that he actually thinks the further you go back, the more impressive it is.
He does.
Yeah, because it used to be fourth grade.
Yeah.
Now it's first.
Now it's first grade.
Of course, because what he wants to say, he wants to grab her by the lapels and go, "It was destiny. Yeah. I was born like this." That's what he's trying to say. I have no control over this talent. Ever since I was born, they throw these roles and things at me.
I've never heard another person who's successful in life ever refer to first grade. Not even once, let alone every time.
Even a first grade teacher.
People with Broadway shows on right now don't call it our play. It's just not what
this is really bothering you.
Yeah, it's just so obnoxious that I would even... You'd say in the high school play, in our high school. It's been a long time, John, that most of those we are dead. Like, hold on.
Adam, would they have sold as many tickets if it didn't say starring John Melendez on the playbill?
They heard about his performance as the little seed carrot a year earlier. And he developed a following. That's not his fault.
All right, so this guy, the anchor on the show, likes Howard Stern. And so he's like, oh, it's so cool that you got to work for Howard Stern. So John has to now pivot from his normal Howard bashing and talk about like, oh, yeah, I'm Howard and I are cool.
Yeah, Howard. No, he was a very close friend. I mean, I was in his inner circle. Like, I would have dinner with Ozzy Osbourne.
Oh, that's crazy.
Crazy everything
trainer.
else. But
everything else. Everything that comes along with that.
Why did Ozzy Osbourne get brought up? He brings up Howard Stern. He's like, I was in his inner circle, which is something that you talk about if you're in the mafia or if you're in high school. I don't get this whole I was in the inner circle. Like, it's fine, man. You worked on the show together. I'm sure you guys spent some time outside of the radio studio. But no, he immediately goes to, oh, man, me and him were such close friends. We had dinner with Ozzy Osbourne.
In the same sentence.
And by the way, he was on with Mike Kelta the same morning. Ozzy gets brought up there, too. Without being asked, it's not like Mike Kelta. It's like, you ever meet Ozzy or have dinner with him? No, that wasn't the question.
So, John, Ozzy, go.
Tell us more about Ozzy Osbourne.
It is very rare that he brings up a memory that isn't currently a clip on YouTube.
Right.
And the stuff on
that's
YouTube
interesting.
is like 10%.
Oh, that's interesting. He's going back and rewatching it, and that's what's giving him these memories.
Is this stuff he's watched. Nothing else comes up.
Yeah, and that's why like he repeats his own lies and they become the truth, because that's what he's bringing in for his intake of media is him lying. And he's like, oh, I keep hearing this thing. I guess Carl posted my audiobook.
It happens when you're in entertainment that you get like a really cool night out with someone. You get to spend the day with Bill Murray, or you spend it doesn't mean you're in their inner circle. It doesn't mean you're best friends. It means you had an incredible night with them. You got to know them a little
Will
bit.
You please tell Skinny Chad that. When you get a chance. I'm kidding.
I will tell Chad. Skinny that we accept him and we love him and support him. And that's all I'm going to say. Mm-hmm. This is, it sounds like somebody stretching. It sounds like a kid who had a good date claiming they're his girlfriend now. And everybody can see that but him.
So you're saying he sounds like he did after the Kate Meany date? I mean, that's what you just described.
I'm pretty much, yeah. It's the same kind of stretch. We spent a night in a room. We're married, right? Howard hung out with him a couple times because he was an employee and somebody told him you should do that for morale. So he did it. He regretted it. And now they're in an inner circle together.
Yes. All right. And, well, whatever. Doesn't matter. Okay. So the anchor then brings up, I'm a celebrity, get me out of here. Or maybe it was just talking more about like, what was the thing that broke your career or got you over the hump? And so John's talking about, I'm a celebrity, get me out of here. And I just realized this while I was prepping for the show today. This is the greatest thing in the world for John because it has the word celebrity in it. He brings it up all the time. Well, I was on I'm a celebrity, get me out of here. It's like, well, there's proof. He's a celebrity. He was on a show called I'm a Celebrity. And so they're talking about that. And then he talks about going on the Tonight Show.
The Tonight Show saw that and they said, let's have him as a guest. That was my dream.
Oh, yeah.
In life, to be a guest on the Tonight Show, the Johnny Carson Tonight Show.
Yeah. Sure.
I mean, it was my dream. So that was unbelievable. And I wrote the jokes on the plane coming back from Australia and in the town car. And then it's that Eminem song. I just lost myself in the moment. And I had Jay laughing. And in the commercial break.
Yep. He wrote the jokes on the plane from Australia, but that wasn't enough time. Yeah, I was going to write a few more jokes in the town car.
Wait, what kind of car? Oh, a town car. Okay, cool. Thanks.
Oh, yeah, good point. Yeah. He had to throw that in there because he was going to the Tonight Show.
Didn't mention what kind of boat it was, but we know it's a town car.
He goes, my live stream was to be on the Tonight Show. In what capacity? Were you promoting a film that you've acted in or maybe one you've directed or created? Are you a comedian? You doing a stand-up set on the Tonight Show? Like, what capacity was it? Oh, well, that didn't matter. And the real reason why I was on there is because I was on a game show that was meant to humiliate the contestants.
He left that out.
He left that part out. Because when we went through his book, everything he ever did, he's like, that was a dream of mine. Becoming a boxer was a dream of his. I'm like, almost everything he's ever accomplished, he claimed, like creating a movie and selling to National Lampoons and like
Becoming a father.
Becoming
a
father.
dream of his since he was a child, apparently.
Yes.
Being estranged from my children.
Everything's
wanted
a
that.
dream to him, but it doesn't make any sense to just be a guest on the Tonight. I always wanted to be interviewed by a talk show host.
Well, you tapped into the tragic flaw of John is that he thinks he's a celebrity, and he always wanted to be a celebrity. He didn't care how, as long as they treat him with respect. That's what he wanted more than anything. So that's all he talks about. And he doesn't realize that these people he's talking to wanted to be newscasters or broadcasters. So they've done a couple interviews. They know what you're talking about. You can relate to them as people instead of as you're this better, you're this elder statesman telling them what showbiz is like. They know, and they have one up on you because they have a skill that they can currently capitalize on.
Yeah, current gig, right? Yes.
Yeah, they would love to talk about it as a broadcaster, like you said, as a comedian. Instead, he's hitting it as a celebrity with this assumption that everyone on the planet is just in awe and in love with that by nature, and that's not true.
And then he cracks himself up with a line that's not even meant to be funny, I don't think.
And I'm the first stuttering announcer ever.
You sound great. You're doing a comedy show.
Was she fucking with him? You sound great.
You sound great.
You smell terrible, but...
Jesus. Can you imagine what it smells like when he does that laugh? Someone should animate that.
He could get two people hammered with that laugh.
It sounds like when you're on a
Halitosis
spaceship
monster.
and the airlock goes off and it's like...
Yes.
It doesn't sound human.
It's like, did John just tell a joke somewhere?
Yeah.
I think I'm hearing something. All right, so we finally, I've been wondering why John's doing this comedy show. He did it last night. A guy reached out to me who was going to go. I don't know what happened with that, but hopefully we'll get a report at some point. But he did a stand-up show last night at this comedy club, and we find out why it was a Tuesday night and a one-off show.
Captain Brian had Off the Hook. I've been asking him, and he finally said, all right, let's do it. And I appreciate it. So I'm going to be at Off the Hook Comedy Club in Naples at 7 o'clock tonight.
So John had to wear him down to get a Tuesday. I've been bugging him, and finally he said, sometimes John says the quiet parts out loud.
Yep.
I love that.
He's proud of his effort. He doesn't realize everyone who plays that club goes to meet these two people. They promote it here. It's a deal. They've done this interview a million times. So, yeah, even they're surprised that you're doing a lone Tuesday night.
The segment isn't called The Main Event. It's called Things to Do.
Things to do, yes. So John also doesn't realize that most people booked at comedy clubs have a manager book these things for them.
Yeah, you don't have to wear anyone down yourself.
Yeah. I am representing Mr. Melendez.
John, how's Tuesday for you?
We know it's you, John.
Oh, this is John Moore. Excuse me.
All right, so John is always trying to fuck every woman he talks to at all times, and Jen here is no exception.
I can't wait. Are you going to come? Come on, Jen.
Well, I can't tonight. I've got to be here at 3 a.m. tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Oh, tell me about it.
Right. Oh, you know morning shows.
Oh, yeah. I used to get up at 3:20.
Yeah, okay, that's later than when she has to be there. So whatever, you're one up at her. It's not working.
And how many years ago, John? When you were an intern? How many years ago?
Yes, we're talking about the late 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And so
she's talking about today.
So John's going, "Hey, you gonna come to my show tonight?" And she's like, "Well, no, I have to work and tomorrow." I'm like,
and even if I didn't,
well, yeah, no. It's like, do you think Tuesday night comics get laid? No. Friday night comics get laid. Saturday night comics get laid. Not Tuesday night comics. John is always so desperate. Like, you got to come out to my show. He thinks he's going to be like on his best performing on stage, and she won't have any choice. God, this guy won me over. I thought he was a disgusting drunk, but
this is a perfect example of why you can't be nice to certain people.
Yeah.
Yep.
Doing what you think is a favor for them never helps in the long run. I remember him breaking down that guy at the Potato Bar, the radio show.
Yep.
The man with one leg. He was a fascinating character, and John just bombed. He couldn't stop bombing, and he wouldn't let it go. Come to my show. Come to my show. Come to my show. The guy went to his show.
He did.
He did, and he did like 5 minutes of stand-up beforehand. Like, he wore him down. He guilted him. He got him to go. So because of that, he's never going to stop. He's going to ask everyone in every interview and never stop because it worked once.
I wonder how many people were in attendance at that show last night. I'd be very curious to know. I'm sure someone out there knows.
Because there's no potatoes there. It's just comedy. So.
I didn't get to go to Dabbler's Anonymous today. I was very busy with everything that's going on. One more clip from this, and you can see that Jen is done with this interview and done with John. She was trying to play along and be fun, and he got creepy. And so she's like, all right.
I was an intern.
Yeah, there you go. Well, we are running out of time, but there are tickets available. You're there tonight?
Yeah.
Just tonight.
Just tonight.
Okay.
Off the Hook Comedy Club in Naples.
It'll be the first of many, I have a feeling.
Yes, I hope so.
She's like, okay, we're out of time. But you got a show or something we're promoting, right? Can we get to the next segment now? Because I have work to do.
She's fucking with him.
Yeah.
It's
And
on her.
rightfully so.
It says right there, 1 gig Tuesday. They didn't forget another gig. Like, she knows.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of tickets left,
Yeah,
right?
she goes, there's tickets available, right? Oh, yeah, there's tickets available, yeah. That is funny. We have a lot of stuff to get into today. I'm very excited about the program we put together for you. It's jam-packed. What I can't have is a lot of people bogging us down by supporting the show at supertip.gg/WATP or here on the YouTube page with Superchats. And do you hear that, free Cajun love?
Give Dick a kiss from me in Boston.
Okay. You got it, woke dad. Anonymous $3. When he laughs, SJ looks like a chimp/seal hybrid.
Yeah,
I wonder if AI could pull that together for us. I bet
he claps like one.
It's true. Yeah, I bet we could figure that out. Laziest Man on Mars coming in with $20. Thank you very much, Laziest Man on Mars. Carol, I moved and I'm kind of dog dick broke at the moment. Okay. I had to drop your Patreon to join your $5 YouTube. Can't super chat for a while, but thanks for all the polite smiles at my awful jokes, hot takes plus insights. Adam, Ed, or Eddie?
Edward.
No, that wasn't one of the choices. Well, Laziest Man on Mars, I'm sorry to hear that, but thank you for being a supporter of the show. And there he is, a new member on YouTube, where we do put all of the bonus stuff on YouTube for the members on here. So we appreciate when you become a member or you gift memberships for others that are in the chat. Free Cajun love, $10. Have fun in Boston. Sad I couldn't make it, but hopefully Carl finds a good home for my ticket. Yes, we do have. I put it out in our Discord. If anyone needs tickets, we do have a few people who can't make it who want to transfer them. So if you're in the same situation as Laziest Man on Mars and you need someone to gift you a ticket for the show, we can probably make that happen. Go to the WTP meetup channel in our Discord. The Discord link is at whoarethese.com. It's free to join.
We're also going to be signing posters, so if you want a poster signed by every one of us.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
I'm picking up the posters tomorrow morning. Mint Salad made phenomenal posters for us. I'm excited about that.
I was making a joke. I'm so glad that's real. Fantastic.
That actually is real. We do bring posters and sign them in all of these shows.
Great. Very cool.
Matthew Rowley, $5. Carl, I was watching old shows, and it isn't a huge deal, but your use of AI John's voice in a commercial for DabbleCon might give John a small chance. That seems like Shuley shit to me. I bet Shuley did that. That'd be my guess.
I remember that. I remember that voice saying, "Come join me at DabbleCon." And the road.
That's what made us $600,000. Rocco Orby 2002 says this show is gayer than the toe changing tires. Oh, I saw that. That was wild. $5. Hi, Carl and friends. Want to get beers and wings? Adam smells like teen angst and mothballs. Chris rules. SJ likes the shite, by the way.
Looks like shite.
Looks like shite, by the way. He doesn't look great. He's had better days. Yeah, let's get beer and wings, buddy. Little $5. Hi, Adam. What's your favorite pastrami on the island? Mine was Pastrami's King. They closed. That's why I'm asking.
Oh, that's what you mean. Oh, I don't remember. But I was a bagel boss guy. I like that. I support that. I didn't have a favorite pastrami place out on the island, but
kind of Long Islander are you?
That's
embarrassing.
Disappointing in so many ways.
No wonder you moved to LA.
Roll David Reed.
$5 from Earl, our buddy EDR. It's so hard to watch Stuttering John talking with anyone outside the Dabbleverse. He's getting a Tom Myers forehead. Ooh, you're right.
But Tom has had that consistently since he was like 11. This is new for John.
That is true. Go ahead, Adam.
Misty Mack, my favorite John line. John Shuley said that BBC is stiffing Susanna like a turkey this Thanksgiving. John Shuley said that BBC is stiffing Susanna like a turkey this Thanksgiving. I thought family was off limits. I miss them days. Me too, Mystic Mac.
Thank you, Mystic.
WJC, the second, going back to your easy for you to say episodes, John always refers to other kids as actors in his school plays. Exactly. It's so weird. Shardy McDennis, look how somebody backstage did his hair. He looks like the brat from Hot for Teacher.
That's a good. That's a pretty good pull right there.
I don't feel turdy.
Rumble Trenchcoat, a Columbo podcast, as a member for 4 months. SJ uses the phrase "in a circle" because he still considers himself at the same level as Jackie, despite Howard repeatedly telling him that he isn't. And let me tell you something, Rumple Trenchcoat. They ask him about Gary in this or the next interview, and he still condescends to Gary like Gary is a punchline. He still acts like Gary is monkey boy in the corner, not the wildly successful lifelong producer of this #1 talk radio show that lives in a mansion wherever he wants to. He still thinks in his mind that guy's like a goober to shove his head in the toilet. It is insane.
Why do we have to let guys like Stuttering John in?
He wants that to be the truth so badly that he's trying to convince himself of it.
Yeah, Gary's they bring up his name and he starts laughing like it's a punch. Oh, Gary, that crazy legend. Arcanistuff's theorem, John manages to look uncomfortable in his own skin.
Yes. Not good for television, by the way.
I miss old Howard Stern. Last week you talked about SJ getting upset about Denise and Susanna laughing in the other room. SJ hated it because he wasn't the center of attention. Yep.
It's probably part of it.
Colonel Clink, SJ is more annoying than Stalin. Jay Loiterer, the laugh John does is stolen from Artie.
That is true. Artie had a charm about him when he would crack himself up.
Yeah, and it was only John who went out of his way to say that that laugh doesn't belong in stand-up comedy, and that if Artie didn't succeed the way he should, it was because of that laugh.
Yep. Yeah, he called him out for it, and yet he does it more than anyone. Principal Uncertainty coming in. Supertip.gg/WATP. Slowing down the show, Principal Uncertainty. How dare you?
Carl, I think Patrick is on to us. He found your soiled hamburger pants.
Oh, no. That's not good. James Bomert.
Why did Ambush comb his hair like Beefsteak Charlie? It's probably accurate. Because I didn't comb it. I'm sorry.
What are you, Opie? Are you the Opie of the show now? What's going on?
Well, I'll just go in the dark. I'll turn off all the lights.
All right. It is time for our
Cringe of the week. Cringe of the week.
This one comes in from Derek. And do you remember our buddy Ken Tamplin, who was a vocal coach, who taught everyone, like, you don't have to find a singer for your band. You could be the singer. Anyone could be the singer. I taught myself. I was a shredding guitarist. I taught myself how to be this amazing singer. And all you got to do is give me money every month, and I'll teach you how to become an amazing singer. And then people started realizing that he was pitch correcting his live performances because he wasn't hitting the notes. And he was using, well, actually not even pitch correcting. He was lip syncing.
Yeah, right.
He was lip syncing to his own live performances. Well, Derek sent this in because apparently he did this live show just recently and he put it out on his main YouTube channel. Normally this is just for the members to see these kinds of things, but there is a portion from before this that's just for the members that we'll talk about. But this is interesting because Ken comes up on stage to, he's got this all-star band. One of the guitarists from Whitesnake is in it. Don't ask. There's this whole thing going on. And so he comes up on stage for the 30 people in attendance. And this is a weird way to start a live performance, in my opinion.
So I want to thank everyone for coming out. We did almost a 4-hour masterclass workshop today, so we're all between coming here one day before, being jet lagged, we're going to give it all we got. But we did sing for almost 5 hours today already.
You ever do that, Adam? I know you perform in bands. You ever start with excuses before you even hit a note? Just
It's a rule.
By the way, guys, we're exhausted and don't want to be here right now. And I'm thinking about a million other things I'd rather be doing. So we'll see what happens.
There's no job where you're allowed to do that and people go, okay, give him a pass. We do your job. We all get
That's
it.
insane.
Don't
That's
open with that.
Insane thing to say.
So go ahead and suck.
And we're going to throw down a little bit more for you guys. So let's see here. What time is it?
Oh, gotta go.
You're at 1 minute 2. So I'm going to want to count down from 10, 9, 8 with me. All right? Let's do it. Oh, I could say
10, 9.
I know it's forward, but backwards.
Stutter, you piece of shit!
All right, what we're going to see here is for some reason, Ken Tamplin, and by the way, that woman who's on the stage was a student that he elevated into his band. I wonder why. Go figure.
It's great they interview her, and she says something like, after 10 years, I'm starting to get the hang of it. Like, she still hasn't figured it out.
I watched a lot of this. We're not going to show it on here. She's terrible.
Yeah.
She's great. She's fine. So they decide they're going to count down 10 to 1 in German.
Okay.
And you tell me if everyone on stage knows German or not when you watch this.
Do it in German. All right. 5, 9, 6, 7, 8.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's a Rammstein song.
Let's do this.
He counted to 8, which is like what you'd count in for a dance number, to count down from 10 in German, so that now they can count in a song. He's so awkward. This outfit he's wearing, his shirt keeps creeping up. It's got a little bit of a belly. His shirt keeps creeping up. He has to keep pulling it down. It's very funny.
Can we just go back to that first moment? I'm sorry, you said it. Even the drummer was like, why are you letting them set the tempo? What are you doing?
Right.
4 of those German words were, oh. He didn't know what they were.
Just because I'm behind plexiglass doesn't mean I'm not here.
I mean, he had energy from the crowd, and then he took all of it away and wanted to start from 0 again. What a weird instinct.
What a front man. So this is Fool for Your Loving by Whitesnake that they're performing here.
Sure.
And if you go to the original, it is, I think, 1.5 steps higher than how they're playing it. So the guitar's way tuned down.
Oh,
so that Ken can hit the notes.
David Coverdale didn't croon this one.
Yeah.
He explained it to you, Carl. They've been singing all day. You have to give them a pass.
That's true.
Right.
So that's Ken Tamplin. Thanks, Derek, for sending that in. That's always fun. And then I did want to talk about this Tom Myers quote.
You know, it's no different than, you know, a police officer running to the scene of a crime or a firefighter running into a burning building. It's what I do.
So underneath our most recent video where we were checking out Tom's live stream, where he was just sitting there and ordering food and writing down jokes. And then he'd be like, "Oh, I don't recognize you. You know, I have a Venmo and a PayPal if you want to give me money." And he just had his Venmo and his PayPal address up the whole time. So Tom writes underneath the video that we posted, quote unquote, "begging for money while providing zero value." I guess that's kind of what I was saying about Tom's stream. He says, "This is the WATP channel in a nutshell. Probably not a smart idea to do your job and do live streams on one channel for an audience that will not grow." What's he talking about?
I'm not quite.
How is this my channel in a nutshell? We put out tons of different content and I don't ever stream without having prepped a show. I literally never go on and just be like, "All right, who's here? What do you guys want to talk about? Want to watch me eat some food? I just ordered some food. It's probably going to come in a little bit."
I'm going to work on jokes over here, if that's all right.
Yeah. Take your time. It's fine.
We do appearances every week on other shows and do crossovers and promote.
Yeah. So either Tom isn't getting it or he just hears other people saying stuff. I think he hears other people saying stuff and just regurgitates it because he says, from Podcast Karen, every accusation is a confession. So this is something he's heard other people say. Like when he covers Opie nonstop so he can hang on to already volatile Anthony Cumia audience while accusing people of being grifters, unoriginal, derivatives, hacks, liars, and most importantly, not funny. Now, I just want to say to my buddy Tom Myers, covering Opie is on brand. We've been covering Opie since 2008, since he started a podcast. When Opie started Opie Radio Podcast, we started covering him. So this whole thing is like, can you believe this guy is still covering Opie? Yeah.
It's
what we
our
do.
job.
It's literally my job. That's why who are these podcasts exist in this world today. But this guy, every accusation is a confession. You know, he hears these terms and he's like, "Oh, I'll use that against Carl."
And that's the beauty of it, because that is a true poetic statement. Every confession is a warning. Every accusation is a confession. So what does he do? He gives himself up right at the end. Hacks, liars, and most importantly, don't you ever call me not funny again.
Right.
That's the part that everyone agrees.
Yeah.
Is the most offensive. And I see how he's feeling. He's like, you know, you shit on me for not fighting back, and then I fight back and you shit on me even more.
And the response to that is, yeah, Carl needs to get a bong hat transplant and chill out. So that's always fun.
I love him putting his hat in the ring and going for it.
Yep. It's always good. All right. I really want to, this is going to be a short segment. But
What was that sigh? What was that?
Well, because I looked down at my notes and I saw SteelToe.
Okay.
And SteelToe's a lot. And we can't make it a lot. We're going to just cover certain things that are happening right now because it's
I got too much general stuff to say. Nope.
Okay, let's go.
Please, guys, Streamlabs, PayPal, Superchats, Rumble Rants, Venmo. Maybe, you know what? Maybe we don't deserve it.
Now, Adam, you were my guest on this little piggy on Friday. It was you, me, and Moody. And I played a clip of something that Aaron said that I was blown away by. I had never heard him say this before. And then Moody and I got into what he meant by that. And we went back and forth about that for the rest of the episode, I think. It kept getting sprinkled back into the show. And I don't think you and I actually got to talk about what makes this so meaningful. So what happened is he was talking about Nick Rekieta getting ahead of this Gabe Hoffman interview with Keanu Thompson, where he was going to drop some bombshells about Nick Rekieta. There was this big promotion for this interview, and this guy was an investigative journalist who was going to come out and tell you things about Nick that were going to change the way anyone feels about him. If you don't like him, you're going to dislike him even more. If you do like him, it's going to change your mind about Nick Rekieta. So Nick comes out And he goes, okay, there's this incident and Child Protective Services was called on it. And they say that I did this thing, but none of it's true and blah, 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 blah. And so Aaron goes on his show and he's just like, dude, what a dumb thing to do to try to get out in front of it. You should never do that. Wait, you don't know if they're going to say that. Wait for it to be said and then respond to it. And then as soon as he said that, he realized in his dumb brain that he's always trying to get out in front of things. And so that's where we pick up on this clip right here.
Actually, no, you know what? I've never done the getting ahead of it. I always wait till it comes out. And then I address it. I think that's a more honest way to do it. But I don't think it's necessarily always a lie to get ahead of things. I don't think there's anything wrong like sometimes you're being blackmailed. I mean, as a matter of fact, the reason I came out with all the polycule stuff is I got blackmailed. I got threatened. I got told, boy, you know, somebody told me, sure would be a shame if your ex-wife found out that you were doing all that Molly and shit. And I'm like, oh, really? Well, nobody's going to fucking, you know, try to fuck with that. You know, oh, you brought your kids to this place. Sure would be a shame. I'm like, well, then guess what? I better just come out with it then. So, you know, sometimes you're being blackmailed. I think, wasn't it Kevin Hart was being blackmailed with a sex tape? So he just dropped it. Some lady was like, I want $10 million or I'm going to drop this sex tape we have. And he goes, fuck you then. Here it is. I thought that was a baller move. So getting ahead of things when you're admitting something is good.
Okay.
Denying something that hasn't come out yet that no one knows about, that's a red flag in my book. I mean,
all right, so he gets a little nonsensical at the end, as he tends to do, where he's like trying to justify what he just said, even though he just said two different things. Don't get out in front of things. I never do, but then I did, but that's because I was blackmailed. And then if Nick's not getting blackmailed, then why is he saying this? That's a red flag. But all of that said, the main thing that I want to talk about, and then Moody threw me off my game because Moody explained to me that Aaron doesn't know what the word blackmail means. He's like, no, he wasn't blackmail. He just doesn't understand the definition of the word. And I went, Moody, he gave an example of Kevin Hart. He understands it. He explained it specifically. The thing that's crazy about this is that Aaron justifies all of his terrible behavior. And he says, I'm better than Nick and Kayla and April because I recognized what I was doing was wrong. And so I fessed up. I told my family, I confessed to my wife. I came on here and told my viewers what's really going on. And they never wanted to admit to any of it. That makes me the better person. I have the moral high ground because I'm the one who confessed to my sins. And now he's saying the only reason he confessed his sins to anyone is because someone threatened him with blackmail. And I was playing this on This Little Piggy with experts on Aaron Ibbel, and it's just flying over everyone's head. This is crazy. This changes everything.
Yeah, it wasn't going over everybody's head. It was just an acknowledgement that he plays fast and loose with words like blackmail and what they actually mean.
Sure.
And even within this description of blackmail, it has to be something that like some random Sam Elliott figure in a cowboy hat came over to him at the bar and said, it would be a shame if people found out about your general blah, blah, blah. And he still then, even when blackmailed, made the decision to go. You know, he has to be a man in charge of his destiny who was also forced to by evil outside.
Yeah, in case you don't like what I did, well, I did it because I had to do it.
And that's his relationship with language and words and all of this stuff. What's really revealing is that you're still hung up that Moody said you were wrong from last week. And that's the point of this whole segment, was not Aaron, but it was to prove Moody wrong.
No. That's not the case. I'm not going to see Moody this week because I'm in Boston, so I'm not going to be able to do This Little Piggy with him.
Well, he won't be able to show his face after this.
Week coming up. But that's not the point of all of this. The point of all of this, and the reason why I brought that up is because the conversation got derailed. It went sideways. We talked about whether Aaron understands the meaning of words or not.
Right.
Which became the crux of the argument. But what was lost on that is the most important part of this is that Aaron claims he's better than all these people when really his hand was forced.
Which shows you that he so badly needs his enemies to have a loss more than he even needs a win. He doesn't care what his narrative is. Just they lost.
That is correct. All right. So big things happened today. And I want to just give you a little bit of an overview of this. So Aaron had this felony charge for revenge porn because he had sent a naked photo of Kayla Ricada to Gina Bisconti while they were live streaming together. Gino showed it to Keanu. So that's the story. There was charges of a gross misdemeanor and felony for revenge porn that Aaron was doing. Well, Aaron he went in front of the judge and they said, okay, we're going to give you a $50 fine and it's a misdemeanor. And that's pretty much it. And so Aaron was on here bragging about how, yeah, see, guys, there's no felony. It's $50. It's nothing. But he hadn't been sentenced yet. That's coming up next week is the actual sentencing. And I don't know a lot about this, but I'm in a thread with Moody, who puts a lot of time into this and knows a lot of things. So he was saying, well, when the sentencing actually happens, the judge can make any judgments he wants, or she wants, actually, in this case. So this idea that it's already a done deal and Aaron doesn't have to give a shit and Gino can go on and talk about, like, I saw a clip the other day of Gino trying to rub it in Nick's face. Like, they were showing a picture of Kayla and he's like, I don't even recognize her because she has clothes on. I don't even know what she looks like when she has clothes on. It's just like, dude, Aaron hasn't even been sentenced on this yet. You do realize that. Well, apparently Kayla received an email from Stearns County today that a violation has been filed against Aaron Imholt, and it's a violation of his release conditions. It's been found contempt of court. Nick thinks this might be a new crime for talking about Kayla. And so listen to this. This is what Aaron's attorney sent to the judge, Judge Schultz, today. It says, we are in receipt of allegations of a conditions of release violation in the above entitled matter. The case is scheduled for sentencing next week. There is a dispute concerning whether my client's actions actually constitute a violation of conditions of release. Now, so part of this is that he's not allowed to mutter Kayla's name. He's also not allowed to talk about his ex-wife because of the HRO, the harassment restraining order that he's under as well. So there's two exes in his life he's not allowed to bring up at all. And so what the judge is saying is that he's violated this. And so the attorney says, there is no allegation that my client contacted the victim directly in any way. The victim is apparently continuing to watch my client's online show to search for some type of violation. Frankly, I would invite her to simply turn off her computer and not visit this particular website. I would ask the court to defer any action on this issue until the sentencing hearing next week. From Todd Peterson. So This is some victim blaming shit right here. Oh, he's talking mad shit about this woman he's not supposed to talk about. You don't have to watch that if you don't want to.
Shouldn't have been wearing that tight skirt.
Why would an attorney respond like that? It's one thing to be snarky to the other team, the other attorneys.
I saw some of that at Point Dabbleverse.
Yeah, it's fun. But to call out the victim of the case and be like, yeah, what a bitch she is. Oh, she's trying to get him in more trouble now?
Well, duh, my client's an idiot. Turn off your computer.
Yeah, I can't get him to shut up about it. I tried.
They look for remorse, reform, rehabilitation. He's gone out of his way to communicate the opposite on all of these matters on a daily basis.
It's amazing.
That's on him. It's
It's
crazy.
amazing. So Aaron, because he's concerned that he's not going to get the $50 slap on the wrist and the misdemeanor, is now having this campaign where he's getting friends and family to write to the judge to explain what a great guy he is, like these character letters.
Hello, my name is Slampiece.
So his mom sent a letter to the attorney, and this is public record, so I'll just pull it up right here. This is the letter that Vanessa Imholt wrote to the judge, I should say, to try to get her son out of more trouble. And this is incredible. I can't believe the way that this reads. Aaron is a 38-year-old father of three, twice divorced father of three, who has been a shock jock, as he calls it, on the radio. Has gotten fired from the radio, has gotten kicked off of Twitch. He prides himself on how outrageous he can be. His mom writes to the court, I am writing this letter on behalf of my son, Aaron Imholt, who is currently before the court. As his parent, I want to share a personal perspective on the man he has become and the growth I have witnessed in him. There was a time when my son went down a difficult and destructive path. Like many young people, he made choices that led to serious consequences. As a parent, It was heartbreaking to watch him struggle, but I never gave up hope that he would find his way back. Now, Adam, I think the three of us are all older than Aaron Imholt. Would any of us refer to him as a young person when he was doing Molly and Coke and swinging?
Like all of the young people in the area. Come on.
He's 37 years old with joint
Tales all the
custody of his 3 kids with his ex-wife. A young person? Over the past year, I've watched my son take full responsibility for his actions and make meaningful changes in his life because he was blackmailed. He didn't want to do that. He has worked hard to rebuild what was broken, both within himself and relationships. He is now working steadily to improve, and he carries himself with a maturity and sense of purpose that I had long hoped to see. Maturity. Have you seen this asshole? This smug asshole?
Yeah, another win for the toe.
He's got a Venmo for $150. Take that, troll. Suck it.
He's a father. Maturity is not to be something he finds now.
Right. I'm so proud of the man he is becoming. He hasn't become that man yet. He's 38 years old. I'm so proud of the man he is becoming. By the way, if I'm the judge, I'm going, we're bringing this back to a felony. This is crazy. This is not helping your cause at all. He has shown true growth, humility, and determination to live a life and all of us can be proud of. Humility? I'm sorry, Vanessa. You're going to have to pull some clips. Show the clip. I've never seen humility out of this guy. That'd be impressive.
Also, all of us?
Yeah, not all of us.
How'd we get into this?
Yeah, not me. I believe in his future and hope that the court can recognize the progress he has made and give him the opportunity to continue on this positive path. Thank you for your time and for your consideration of this letter as a testament to my son's character and rehabilitation. Did I mention? Oh, there's phone numbers. I just dox people.
God
Whoops.
damn it,
Oh,
Carl.
gosh darn it. Well, it is public.
Every time.
If I did I mention that this violation could send Aaron to jail for, is it 90 days or 30 days? Because it is a violation. I think we were talking about this before the show started, right? There's a violation of his HRO. He's not allowed to get slapped with another charge in a calendar year.
Or slap anyone.
Oh, yeah, that would be a charge. So, yeah, there you go.
That would be when they'd look at what he's been doing and take character, into. They don't realize how bad that letter was. He's being sentenced. So the lawyer says, look, if you can get letters of support from anybody of note, it would help. So he went and got from whoever he could. Nobody's reading the letter. At best, the judge or somebody's asking, did he get any letters? Who from? As soon as it says, I'm writing on behalf of my son, the judge knows where this letter's going.
Right.
There's no need to read the rest. Okay, his mother support. Does he have a community? Does he have family? Does he have a job? Does he have people that would like him involved? Well, he has one we know of, and she had nothing to say. I mean, that was a very general. I know he
so
did bad,
generic.
but it was even like he's working on becoming
Not even there yet.
Yeah, and any peek at what he's doing would reveal, oh, he's learned nothing.
I know he's a prick, but haven't we all been pricks?
That was her take.
And this is the second time in, this year, that he's had to have friends and family write letters on his behalf because Safe Sport, in order to get reinstated into Safe Sport for boxing, he had to do the same thing. He had to get people to write letters on his behalf and say what a great guy he is. Chris, if I come to you twice, and I'm like, can you write another one? You're like, I don't know, man. Just paraphrase the first one for me. Just move around some paragraphs.
So who am I now?
Or maybe just do better, buddy. Can you just do better?
You know what? Actually, I'm starting to realize you are a prick, and I don't want to write any more letters saying that you're a great guy. It's not true.
You haven't been following this Diddy trial, have you guys at all?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, did you hear what was introduced today? There was a word introduced. That's
No,
relevant.
please tell me, because we're going to go over it tomorrow on the Creep Off. But what happened today?
Well, they introduced a word, and that word, by the defense, is the word cuck.
No shit.
That is, why is he obsessed with watching other people and his girlfriends or wives? And what the defense is hoping they'll say is that he is a closeted homosexual that is living vicariously through these women, and that he wants to see them with these men. They're like a conduit, like a between, and then he rejects the woman afterwards because now he's jealous. This is their defense. And
ask Justin Bieber if he's a closeted homosexual.
I don't know, but I know there's men that like watching this. Yeah, there you go. Like, there's men that like this. And Diddy...
So this is the Aaron Imholt defense, is what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying. He could do it, too, at any point, say, this is what I want, and suddenly all of this is under his control, as opposed to needing mommy to write a letter as to why I ended up in that threesome with my wife and all that Molly.
It's hilarious. Well, okay, I wasn't in the threesome, but there was a threesome happening on the other side of the wall. I could hear it. I'm sure it was happening. People sounded satisfied. I know I wasn't there.
I know. But they're in this Diddy trial trying to go over the nuances between somebody who just wants to see someone sleep with their wife, someone who is closeted gay and wants to deal with that. And they're talking about all of it in ways that really remind me of this story and all the stuff that Aaron's doing. There's something even weirder about getting your mom write a letter about all of this. It's just not.
It's so sad. Because when he married April, he lost a relationship with his parents. They were like, you're making a bad decision with this one. And he was like, fine. And I don't know who decided to end communication, but whatever. He stopped having any communication with his parents, which is a crazy thing to do when you have 3 children, their grandchildren. And so...
For starters, yeah.
So he gets rid of April, rebuilds his relationship with his parents, and now he's asking for letters to say how great he is. Like, poor Vanessa is probably sitting there going, I really despise you, honestly, but all right. Fucking trying to write something.
Keep in mind, Mom, that threesome is a card game that we were doing.
It's like Twister, Twister, threesome.
Molly, that's an Airbnb.
I'm surprised he didn't add it to his list of ways you could donate to the show. Like, or you could write a letter on my behalf.
He only wants money.
We got to meet the goal.
Adam, you got to understand, every single thing he says that you can do to help him, always giving him money, even though he acts like there's so many different things that you can do. All of them turn into like, can me over money.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We have the Joey C. Adam Busch interview to get into. Brendan Schaub, hating Texas. Ron the waiter asks Opie a question that I've been dying to ask Opie, and he actually is forced to answer it, which is great. Stuttering John was on Mike Kelta. That's a whole thing we got to get into. But first, people are slowing down our show. They're going over to supertip.gg/WATP, and Distriga is one of these people.
Hey, it's Pride Month, Carl. Why are you not out there showing your pride? Just do it. Did you miss me and my stupidity? Please keep me relevant. I adore the attention. My cats are skeletons.
Carl, I saw you roasting me on Drew Lane.
Yeah.
I'm the only TikToker that treats black people like people that use sexy time with and keep them in my coffee art dungeon.
Tomorrow is Juneteenth. I'm going to live stream me at the Runaway Slave Marathon. They didn't know the truth, and I'm here to tell them. Multiple cameras pointed in the same direction. Yeah, brother, I can't so I'm bar.
Good to know. That's quite the lineup, yeah. The woke dad stuff that we were playing on Drew Lane's show yesterday. He brings his kids to the Pride Parade so that they can see what a diverse family looks like. Been to some Pride Parades. I don't see a lot of displays of how family life works, but all right, maybe that's true. Who knows?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's how you count in German, Scheißkopf. Sieg Heil!
Whoa. I don't agree with the last part, but yes, my German is getting very good.
But it was just as silly as what that singing teacher did, because he had, like, somebody on stage dropped in Rammstein, like...
Yeah, right, yeah.
You're in Germany, you mentioned, like, come on,
I
man.
know, most generic thing. At least say David Hasselhoff so that they get behind it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Ghost Crusaders TV.
Oh, my God. Aaron is so stupid, he no learn. I tell you, he have no ear, no brain. He so rick-roo Russ. I hope he go to rail. Maybe he do show from rail. Okay, bri.
Oh, my God. Asian Rob Sal is my favorite character. It doesn't even really exist.
Nope.
But people are making it happen, which I love.
I don't know what it means, but I love it.
Ricky Roos.
Take it away for us, Adam.
Rumble Trenchcoat, a Columbo podcast. Are you ready to rock? Because we're not. We're a little tired, to be honest. Stewie felt Looks like Danny Bonaducci's skeleton. You're talking about SJ, and you're right. Cool Cut Casting, my 3 favorite white cis men with boyish charm. Thank you.
True.
Rumble Trenchcoat, a Columbo podcast once again. I think Aaron knows what words mean. He just changes the definition to suit him, although he was calling it blackmail when it was extortion. So exactly, Rumble Trenchcoat, I agree.
No, let's debate this.
Yeah, for a couple episodes. Language is fluid. Let's move on. Shardy McDennis. P.S. I breastfed him till he was 7. Rumble Trenchcoat's back, a Columbo podcast. Aaron's mom doesn't know what the word means.
Yeah, just
doesn't know what words mean. Yeah.
Yeah. Good call.
Daniel Alexander is a bad man. Awful, false virtue signaling, faking money shortages to fund your own mug making for profit. Keep up with the art studio.
Yeah, Dan Alexander is a trip. I'm looking forward to presenting him to the live audience in Boston with my buddy Mike Geary.
Very cool.
That's going to be fun. Principal Uncertainty coming in.
Carl, I appreciate you taking the photo in the lingerie I sent you, but I'm not into scat play and rack seat themes. So ease off with the dark pics.
All right.
Stop being such a racist.
Close enough. Let's talk about Joey C. You were on Joey C. Catalano TV, and the description of the episode was, join Joey C. as he interviews actor Adam Busch in a raw, no-filter sit-down.
I was excited to learn it was going to be raw and unfiltered. I didn't know that ahead of time.
Yeah, you learned that by reading the description of this show? All right. Well, let's get into it. You want to set up your first clip here?
I just want to remind people that I started doing this because we were reviewing podcasts, and sometimes I felt like I didn't know enough about it on my own to form a strong opinion. And that ended up in me becoming a guest on these shows so I could form my own opinion and then bring it back here. And that's the only reason I'm doing it, really. This
is taking what we do, podcast reviews, to the next level.
Thank you.
You're going, I'm not just observing and reporting. I'm involved.
That's what I'm doing.
I know what this person's like as an interviewer. I was interviewed by them.
Mm-hmm.
So and by the way, it doesn't go unnoticed by me, the amount of effort you're putting into this, Adam.
It's time consuming.
We appreciate it.
I've just found that people, you ever notice someone comes, like you're hanging out with someone and right at the end when they're ready to go, sometimes that's when everything happens. Like they'll like, oh buddy, I meant to ask you. And suddenly you're like, oh, this is why you've been here for the last 3 hours. So I let the host decide when it's over. I'm a guest. They're in charge. I'm not just going to run. And sometimes at the end, things start to unravel. So I do stay a little longer than expected. But you don't have to watch the original episodes. You can just watch them here. So Joey is very excited to have I think he wanted to cosplay as like inside the actor's studio as James Lipton. And this is him doing that.
And let us get us part done and really make a connection here. I believe it's going to be like a two-way interview. I'm going to be interviewing Adam, and I believe Adam's going to be interviewing me. Without further ado, I'd like to bring in to the actor's studio chair, Mr. Adam Busch. Adam, how are you?
Better and better, Joey. How you doing?
I'm doing outstanding. Thank you for being here. I really mean that a lot. How's everything going, man? I got an impression from just a couple of things we talked about that, and I'm glad you said that. I want to make a connection with you two. I think it's important when two people connect and the flow goes easier. But I'm under the impression you like to know a lot of things about me, so I thought we would do a style of a two-way interview. You know, I'm an open book. I'll answer all your questions to the fullest with no holds bar. And I put together a nice little package of questions for you as well.
I'm going to pause it real quick and just ask, did you prepare questions for Joey C? Did you know this would be a two-way interview? Okay.
No.
We did play some of these clips. Jenny Jingles brought some clips of this on Point Dabble Point on Monday. And Shuli was on the show. And that's when we learned that Joey actually asked Shuli for advice on this interview. And Shuli was just like, well, just make it conversational. You know, it doesn't have to just be you asking questions. It could just be a conversation. And Joey took that as, oh, so he'll interview me too.
Yeah. And
I didn't know that until Shuli was explaining that to me, that's what happened.
Which goes back to our original point of there's some people you just can't help. Because I know Shuli had his heart in the right place, and so did Joey when he asked him, but he takes direction so hard and so completely. There are no small notes. He heard, don't dominate with questions, let it be a conversation as, oh, okay, well then he'll just ask me questions. And I suspect that's secretly what Joey wanted from the beginning.
Were any holes barred?
There was at least one hold barred, but
okay.
It'll
Good
be
to know.
revealed later.
Okay.
And if that's okay with you, that's what I would like to do.
That sounds wonderful.
Awesome, Adam. Well, Adam, my first question to you is going to be this, and let me get it up here, please. I got a teleprompter, by the way. I don't know if you ever. I know you've worked with him in acting, but I got a teleprompter. It's something new I'm trying, and you played everything from villains to best friends. What role was the most? What was the role that was the most you underneath it all?
What?
Okay, you played everything from villains to best friends. What role was the most you under? I'm sorry. What was your very first acting job, and how did you land it?
He's like, that question's too hard. I'm just going to skip to question number 2.
Ooh, he speak word good.
But if you're ever curious, if you're like, yeah, but if he just put his head down, focused, had some time, worked on it, that's what you get. That was those circumstances, and that's the best he could deliver. And I want you to know I answered all of them. I don't include it here. It's very boring, but I answer every question he asks in depth. I hear his stories in depth. It's a constant ramble from the second it starts to it ends. There are no pauses. There's no silences to cut from. So every one of these clips is a moment of him talking interrupted, where I could just kind of grab something. And this is another example of that.
Adam, I got another question for you. When you became a character like Warren, what part of yourself do you bring into the role, and what part do you have to leave behind?
Is that a question that you want to know the answer to?
It's a question that someone asked me to ask you, a friend of mine.
A friend of yours?
Yes.
Can you say it one more time?
Yes. When you became a character like Warren, what part of yourself do you bring into a role, and what part do you have to leave behind?
I bring, I guess, all of myself. I don't leave anything behind, but I adapt to the fictitious circumstances, and I try and react. That's just me. As I like to use as much of myself as possible, and I certainly feel like, like that moment. I'll never forget it. It was one of the top 2 of John's darkest moments. One was when he really debased Clay Dabbler by reading his texts over the air to just humiliate him. There was something where he was drunk and he just had you dancing and laughing like a jester, like a, he likes that high-pitched laugh thing, so you just keep doing that until he responds, and it just felt like, you see people do that to like a baby that won't stop crying, but even the baby like gets over it eventually. This, because he's drunk, would just never end. I remember thinking, how long is Joey going to go on? Like, how low can this guy get, and to what end? And I don't think John will be happy until everybody's dead.
I lost your sound, Adam. We're not hearing you.
You did? You're not hearing me?
You were going in and out there for a minute. There we
really?
go. Yeah, you're back. Good. I don't know if you watched the to me, I thought was the greatest show on the internet to this day in the Dabbleverse is when John was drunk and it was DG and I and him. Do you remember that episode?
Oh, yeah.
It went on for a couple hours.
I think that might be the one I'm talking about.
Okay, yeah. I'm not quite remember if that was what you were describing was in that one, but yeah, I agree. That was probably I was the only one. I don't drink, so I was the only one sober. DG was smashed. He was smashed, and it was pretty hard. But he
sounds like he could hear you.
Not only could he hear me, but that's I just described that episode, Joey.
Right.
You're like, I don't know if you ever saw this. It's what I just said. He is entertaining, but he's incapable, at least during these 4 hours, of listening. He can't hear anything I say, and he can't stop cutting me off if there's a word he recognizes. He can't internalize anything. Really, so he launches into the exact same story I just told him, which is now suddenly fascinating because it's coming from him.
And some things, and he was leading up to I'll fly you to Detroit to go beat up Carl. He was, making innuendos like that on that show.
So that's interesting.
Did you know that?
I don't remember. John says so many crazy things that I don't remember that specifically, that he was going to. I know that John's talked about fucking with our Detroit show. And I kind of remember Joey saying that he was going to be there or something.
I think about Hitman Dan showing up to that show in New York.
Yes.
And who will take his late night drunken phone calls, and how it was Joey for a period of time. I bet he did that. I bet he tried to, because Joey's always bragging about his mob ties, and I bet he said, "Oh, mob ties. Why don't you go kill Carl?"
Just scare him enough that he doesn't go out on stage in Detroit.
Yeah, just, fuck up his ankles. Or, you know what? Leave those. Just hit his arms. Just get something.
That's a weird thing. And when John gets drunk, I think it's a truth serum for him. And so you see the real John come out where he's just like, "Can you just hurt my enemies for me?
Yeah.
Do me a solid and just like beat up this guy I don't like, please."
Or write me some jokes. One or the other. I need something.
Yes. Oh boy. All right. So this is another question about your acting that everyone in the Dabbleverse is interested in learning about.
Even Joey's not interested in these questions.
No, and we're gonna learn why these questions are even being asked. But he's trying to be a professional interviewer. He wants to.
Why is he trying to be a professional interviewer, Carl?
He wants to respect that he has a big Hollywood actor on his show and show that he can handle this type of interview. I think.
He doesn't have he just has some character actor who does some Dabbleverse stuff. Like, it's not, you don't have to put on these airs.
I like your work, Adam.
Well, we just want to talk about John. I mean,
really, really appreciate that. I like The Juror. I like Jenna Juror. I couldn't find so much stuff on you on Buffy, but I watched the movie. I believe I watched, what's the one? Was it Drones? I think it was. It was Drones. I watched Drones. I watched that movie. I thought it was pretty good. It might be honest with you, not my type of movie, not the kind of movies I watch, but I watched it just to get to know you, and I enjoyed it.
Adam wasn't in that movie. He directed it.
Yeah, but hey, thanks for letting me know you didn't like it and bragging about how you suffered through it.
Honestly, I watched that movie too, but I didn't watch it to get to know Adam. He was just a director on the film. He did a great job. He got everything he could out of those actors.
It shows you how I don't know what the word is, but just self-involved he is, that he honestly thinks saying, "Yeah, I saw that film and I didn't like it." In my mind, I'm going, "Yeah, good man for watching it, though. Good man.
Right.
Thank you." He thinks that's my response.
Did enjoy it. Me and my wife watched that, and I just studied you a little bit to find out about you. I know you grew up in New York. I know you started acting at a very young age, Nickelodeon. Leon the Professional was another one of my favorite movies.
We can see the screen in your eyes, right? We can see that what you're reading, right? You know that.
Oh, really? You could see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not reading now. I'm just talking. It's off the screen now. Yeah, I'm just talking. I'm not reading off the prompter. I put everything I wanted to say in the prompter. It just makes it easier for me. I was nervous. I'm going to be honest with you. I was very nervous. And I never am nervous when I go on air because I'm usually fighting with somebody and I'm usually yelling at somebody. I'm usually bantering. But I was nervous because this was a big deal for me. I really wanted you to know that. And I think that you're a hell of a actor.
Hey, Joey, I get nervous every Wednesday, so don't feel bad. We have greatness in our presence.
I can't help it.
I know your love for music, and I would like to talk about that. But like I said, I was advised to just let you take the seat, let you interview me. That's what I was told.
Who are you getting this advice from?
I can't tell you my sources.
Okay. Well, I think of it like this: if it would interest you, we should talk about it. If it feels like it's what you're supposed to say, or it's an obligation, or these are how these are supposed to go, don't worry about it. If it's something you would want to watch, your fans will.
Okay.
Adam, your sound dropped out again. What happened?
Yeah, right. So what are your questions for me now?
Yep. I had to cut a lot of that out. In between all of this is him going, "Do you have any questions for me? Or is there anything you'd like to ask me? Or I know you're a big fan of mine. Would you like to hit me with something?" But again, I think he's a sweetheart, but he takes the direction a little too hard when I say, let's just talk about what would interest you in this next one.
Yeah.
Awesome. Do you one of my favorite bands that I'm like I said, mostly R&B, but I do like some classic rock. The Eagles is one of my favorite bands. I love One of These Nights, and that's one of my favorite songs, and I enjoy that. I love the Eagles. I love.
Why can't I shake the feeling that this is like torturous to listen to? Like, you and I talking about classic rock is like.
You could take the lead and tell me what you like to talk about.
I don't know. What do you? I'm honestly, I'm sitting here trying to figure it out.
I'd rather be me. I just rather be Joey C and you be Adam Busch.
Yeah.
Let's just
I
shoot.
don't want to
this
be
shit.
anybody else.
Yeah, I don't want to be anybody else. I would never change anything. I would never change who I am. I would never hide my name. I would never hide behind a mask. I want to be me. People, I speak from my heart, and I'm the real deal. And
yeah, this goes on for.
That wasn't the point. It's not that you're using a potato filter. What Adam was trying to say is, let's just have a conversation. Like, what are we trying to accomplish here? You want to tell me which Eagles song you enjoy the most? Cares.
Yeah. I had these three, it became too many moments where I was speeding up him talking so we could just take in how long, but there's too many of them.
Yeah.
There's really no point in it.
All right, so this next one. So Adam reads a sentence to Joey and wants to get Joey's reaction to the meaning of this sentence. And Joey's not picking up what Adam's putting down at first. So this is interesting.
But I wanted to ask you about this one quote.
Sure.
What does this mean to you? They tried to cancel the truth, but the mic was still hot.
all right, now I'm gonna say something before I answer that. Adam, I'm not I have a lot of common sense smarts. I have a lot of street smart. I understand the question. I was very poor in reading comprehension. I could read a book, and 5 minutes later you asked me something about the book. I couldn't tell you one thing about the book. I'm getting better now as I'm older. So you have to give me that question like I'm a 6-year-old. Can you do that?
So there's so much funny about this. I don't know why reading comprehension has anything to do with what does this quote mean to you. It doesn't make any sense at all. But he also goes, I'm bad at reading comprehension. If I read a book and you ask me a question about it 5 minutes afterwards, I won't know the answer. What about 2 minutes afterwards? Reading comprehension is comprehending it. It has nothing to do with like short-term memory. Yeah, right.
And this is just an opinion question. It's not factual.
Yeah.
There's no, he's like,
Right.
there's right or
Yeah,
wrong.
What does this mean to, right. What does this mean to you? Right.
However you feel about it. Of course. I'm so sorry. They tried to cancel the truth, but the mic was still hot.
They tried to cancel the truth, but the mic was still hot. Oh, God.
Do I think Mike is
I would
hot?
say, go ahead. You want to add something to that to help me? Because I know I can answer this question. Give me an example, Adam, and this way I could get the right answer.
Tell me what I think for a second. That would be really helpful because I don't know what I'm thinking right now.
Because I want to answer all your questions. I love answering questions. I love talking about my story. I like talking about my heartaches. I like talking about all the bad that I've been through. I like that. I like sharing it. People think I'm nuts. Why would you put all your business up? I don't care.
This is a
I'm
filibuster.
in the middle of writing a book.
This is
for
a
10 years,
filibuster right
my
here.
life story. And I do have to do one thing. I have to run up one thing that I have to do here. I have got a new producer.
Okay. Well, actually, this might actually be interesting. Hold on. Let's hear about his producer.
And people think I'm nuts, but you know what Chat GBT is? Have you heard of it?
Yeah.
Well, Uncle Bob, I named my Chat BT, and he's my producer.
BT?
And he has a message for you.
He keeps changing what it's called.
And he's put it into an AI.
Okay. So this is where it's revealed. Joey's new producer, Uncle Bob, is actually just Chat GPT. And so there was a lot of filibustering, a lot of changing the subject. Adam brings it back. He really wants the answer to this question.
Listens, and he doesn't give me no negative thoughts. He's let me find. I got to find the mess. I should have had this up here.
They tried to cancel the truth, but the mic was still hot. Do you know who said that?
They tried to cancel the truth.
Do you know who said that originally?
No, who said that?
Uncle Bob.
Uncle Bob, my Uncle Bob.
It's in the description to this show.
Okay, all right. Well, you know what? I didn't see that part.
All of these quotes that I've been reading are from your description of this
right, which is
episode.
Uncle Bob, because I post a daily thing on there that he posts. He gives me a quote every day for the fans and the Dabbleverse. I just have to find. Oh yeah, here. Hang on, let me.
So this is brilliant, Adam. Just a quick kudos to you for the way you presented this question, for the way that you're explaining it to him. He's still not picking up what you're putting down. You're like, do you understand that you're putting this out as your content? You don't even understand it, and it doesn't make sense to anyone? And Joey goes, yeah, this guy, he gives me a quote every day. I put out stuff. You wouldn't believe how much stuff this guy's giving me to do. It's not a guy. it's
He
machine
understands,
learning.
Carl. He does. This is his street smart. He knows. He's been
Okay.
caught. He's pretending its meaning. He was pretending didn't want to answer the question, so he just got lost and let me find something. And he thought that would do it, and I hit him back with the question, and he had no choice but to address it and then just pretend it didn't happen and go right back to whatever he was doing before. I'm just trying to find this thing. He's choosing. He knows he had a moment.
Put it in.
Let's pretend it didn't happen.
It's probably better if I just find it here, then I can pull it up here this way. Yeah, Uncle Bob.
Yeah, he just turned into a Rocco running a game show at Hackamania. It's in here somewhere. Oh, I just got to find the folder.
Don't be mean. That was low. Don't be.
Stuttering John looking at the ceiling.
Yeah.
See.
Yeah.
Sorry, Adam. I didn't.
It would almost feel like you're trying to avoid the question.
No, I'm not trying to avoid the question, Adam. Let me. You know what? Matter of fact, I'll answer the question. I'm having trouble trying to understand the cancer of truth, but the mic was hot, so I want to answer this question.
I don't know what it means either. I have no idea what that means. But these are your statements,
right? Yeah. I asked him to write a description, and I guess he put this in the description. And maybe I probably should have went through it a little better and asked him.
Yeah, I should have asked him.
Asked him.
I want to see Joey interview Harrison Blake Young.
Yes,
it would sound like this.
So he asked ChatGPT, "What does that mean?" ChatGPT's like, I don't know, man. You're too dumb to use this. I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know. It's hour 2 at this point, and he spent a good hour and a half of it explaining to me that he is the real deal, a straight shooter who speaks from the heart.
Yep.
So I say, how come you don't even know or recognize your own description of this episode? He goes into detail about what happens in this episode, and he posted it before it happened.
Right.
So I was excited to read everything I was up to. So I'm just pointing that out to him, and there's no...
And the reason why ChatGPT does that is because a lot of these podcast episodes pre-record an interview, and then they literally give a description of, this is a no-holds-barred, hard-hitting interview. We get to the bottom of things because they have had the interview already. ChatGPT is treating this like the interview's already happened.
I was excited to know the bottom of what? What am I going to reveal? I want to know.
I know. I wanted to know, too. Not so much that I didn't watch the Gabe Hoffman interview instead of this, but still, I wanted to know as well.
It was very, very long. But
it's one of my quotes. People fear what they don't understand.
Oh, so anyway, this is getting into...
there is no good space to pull the clip. He's always talking. So in this next one, I try and get to the heart of what we're talking about.
Okay.
They always will fear something they don't understand. And 2, people rather call a person who speaks the truth a liar, and a liar is a truthful person. I think that's very big in this Dabbleverse. There's guys that make up stuff every day that are just born liars.
I agree 100%. And what we're saying is that if you're putting out a quote that you don't even know what it means,
right?
That's not being your authentic self at all. That would be, I think laziness is fear. I think that's what laziness is. If I never really try, I can never really be criticized. So you're setting it off to AI. You're describing an episode that hasn't even happened yet. Like I was excited to read all of the things that I had already done before this was even released. Because
that was my error. I should have read that better.
Run this show. Well, it's like if you don't know what it means.
You're right. You're right. You're 100% right. And I'm glad you asked me that. I'm glad.
Is he?
I don't think he is. That is
but
one
even
of those
that puts
things.
him like 4 steps above so many other people in this Dabbleverse. Like they are incapable of saying that. He is the quickest one to say it and not mean it in any way.
And Joey is trying out a new thing. He's doing a rebrand over the summer, and he announced that he's got this new producer. It happens to be ChatGPT, but it's called Uncle Bob. And so he's working out the kinks here, and he's working them out in real time with you, I think, Adam. I think you're helping him out a lot with his new approach.
Happy to help.
To podcasting.
He doesn't realize that when you don't pay for ChatGPT, what you're getting is not adaptive. It's not, learning with you. It's not doing all those things. And it's getting worse and worse and worse. They really want you to pay for it. And what you pay for is remarkable. And what they're offering free is getting really lame. Cardiff did this amazing thing where he just asked Chat on air. He goes, give me an interview with Adam Busch. Give me an intro.
Yes.
And it was like verbatim what Joey said.
I heard that. Yes, it's very funny.
And this is his biggest moment. And we get into, right at the end here, his personal life. And he explains how he managed to be a meth addict and crack addict for 30 years but also not have it affect his family life in any way. He was always there for every ball game, every meal. His family never knew that he was living this duplicitous life.
Family life going. I never did drugs in my house. I always did it outside of my life. I always went away. And what got me away at him, working in baseball, I would be away 6 months a year. My kids would come every month. So I lived in hotels. Some teams, I had deal package where they gave me apartment. They would trade out tickets for apartments for the staff. So I had a lot of free time. I was
How can you be an addict but not and still be honest to your family and never do it?
Well, outside of them knowing that I was an addict, I always was there for everything they needed, their needs. Went to school events. I raised them the best I can. I never let them see anything bad. If I saw them astray, I would tell them don't be doing it. I told my sons, you're not street guys. You can't duplicate what I've done. You can't live on the street. You can't be a tough guy. Go to school, get your education, be smart, be somebody, help people. I preach this. I always turned it on and off, even though I was still lying to them because I was nothing but a common drug addict. But I would not be that dirtball drug addict that leaves their family and kids and their wives and just be on the street like a bum. I wouldn't do that. I had to balance it. I balanced it for over 30 years. My drug use and being a father and a parent and a provider. It was very difficult in the beginning for me to do that, but I had to. I mean,
it gets more difficult by the end, I would think.
Yeah.
The easy part's the beginning.
Yeah, that's the honeymoon.
Yeah. You know, like where I'm at, you're just dabbling in meth.
I try to sit here and add up what I spent in 30 some plus years of drugs. I guarantee it's well over $1 million in drugs. I guarantee you.
You tell me if I'm wrong, but I think you can say whatever you want to kids, but they're just going to see what you do. They're going to
correct.
Feel.
You're right. 100%. And here's the big.
My mother. What you're saying, they can see behind your eyes. They can feel. They know.
And to a sense, they can.
In the sense that they're your kids and you're their father, and they know what's going on. Yeah, I think they can, and it all comes.
I'm happy that Joey's gotten clean and he's changed his life up. I've hung out with Joey a few times, and he's definitely changed his life and his perspective, and that's phenomenal. I didn't realize he was a 30-year meth head. That seems like it would do a number on you.
I don't know why you're assuming that's the true thing. I realized as I was believing everything he said instinctually, there's really the drug switches,
I'm just playing along.
The years switch. I'm sorry.
Listen, playing along.
I know. And Joey's, listen, he reminds me of every Teamster in New York I would hang out with. He's a sweet guy. I like him. I've heard people hang out with him and enjoy it. I'm down to do it. I support him. However, he has to acknowledge this addictive personality has not been dealt with, and at best it's transferred from drugs to food and talking because he cannot stop talking. And you see that's his escape. And there in the third to fourth hour, it's just him. And he says something afterwards. He was like, this last hour was really great. I really feel different. I feel connected to you. It just feels right. And I asked him how it went, and he said, I don't know, but that last hour was really special. I was glad that I could provide that for him, but what I provided was escapism.
Right.
He was just gone for that. And every once in a while, he comes out of that stupor and is left with facts, like in this next one.
But, okay, and I'm glad you set that up, and I should not be stomping on it. But
no, please.
What's interesting to me is that anyone who gets sober of an addiction like that, and it affects their family and it affects their, I mean, you just heard him talk about all the money he spent on drugs, and obviously that would have been a lot better if he had it for the family and supporting his family and everything like that. Every other person goes, oh my gosh, I had so many regrets, and I thought I was pulling the wool over their eyes and that they didn't realize I had a problem, but of course they knew. Of course there was a huge problem there that I was just disguising in my own head and pretending I was getting away with. Joey goes, yeah, they never even knew. It's amazing. I got away with it all. What? You've learned nothing, sir.
You've learned nothing.
It's weird.
Yeah.
All right. I'm sorry. You set up this next clip. So this is talking about the reason why he went to prison, as we all know.
Yes. People say you're a scumbag because you took FEMA money. You and your wife took FEMA that could have belonged to a real family. When that was put to me like that in courtroom by the judge, it changed everything because he was right.
What did it change?
It changed the fact that I was a scumbag for what I did because I did take away from a mother that had 4 kids that probably got denied, so I could go fucking spend it on drugs and gambling. That's what the change was for me. I was a scumbag. That was a scumbag move. We took away from a mother that had no father and their 4 kids that put in a real legitimate claim and took that money from them. And that changed everything because it made me know, am I really a scumbag? And I say, yes, I was. That was a scumbag move. I took that money and I blew it on drugs and gambling. And that's what I blew it on.
Joey, you just explained to me how those things were separated and there was no.
But it was most of my life, but I'm telling you now, as I'm older, I'm getting the conscience, something I've never experienced in my younger years. I feel.
When did the conscience start? Because the coma thing was recently, and then I remember the money you were getting millions of dollars coming in from that settlement.
I think it happened my last session that I had when I went to the heart doctor, and he told me, put it to me the truth. I asked him, I said, listen, I've been reckless my whole life, and I know I'm showing you that I don't give a shit because I'm not listening to you. And he said, this is what he said to me. He said, listen, you do what you want. I only could tell you 100 times over, and I'm done telling you.
Yeah. You ever go to your doctor and have them say to you, look, do what you want.
You're not going to listen to me anyway, you jerk. Try to reverse psychology.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Let's see how much meth you can do. Try to come back and show me you've done all the meth.
So his doctor, who's getting money, good money from an insurance company or someone, somewhere, is like, I can't help you. There's nothing in this for me. You're not listening to me.
There's another thing in there where he talks about this FEMA scam, and he goes, I've realized how terrible this is, where I was scamming the government out of this money so that I could get drugs and gamble, and there was a mother of 4 who needed that money. I disagree with Joey on this. I think you should scam the federal government every chance you get because all they do is print money. There's always more money. It's not just because he got money from FEMA doesn't mean that mother of 4 didn't get money. Everyone gets the fucking money. The scammers, the people who need it, everyone does. It's a free-for-all.
All about taking advantage of the government. What's remarkable here is that he feels something for this fictitious couple that don't exist. Right. But he can't admit that he hurt his own family. He can't admit that doing meth for 30 years had some impact on his family life.
They never knew.
That's true, yeah. They're just learning about it now, actually. All right, here's the last clip, and things get emotional. I'm going to go ahead and say it. Adam Busch is making them feel.
I got so much guilt and so much pain in me. I don't even know if I want to live anymore sometimes.
It does come out across when you're arguing with the chat that that's really what's going on. But there's never a reason to be dishonest with people.
You're right.
Is this the first time someone had you on to interview you and then they were crying?
Yeah, it was definitely
I thought
first.
so. Yeah, okay.
And I'm trying to make good on everything, and I'm trying to correct things. I'm trying to be better. But I just believe that there's so much damage. I'm so fucking damaged in the head, and I'm such a mental case. And I'm just the things I've done or the things that I've tried to pull off or the people that I've lied to is I just think it's too late. I just think it's way too late in my life to now. I don't do nothing bad no more. I haven't been doing nothing bad or I do anything to hurt people or
are you doxing people or?
Well, in fairness, two wrongs don't make a right. I've doxed people that doxed me. I've doxed my own self on a daily basis. I used to put my address up in my live stream.
That has nothing to do with anything.
Nope.
Just shows you're an idiot.
Yep.
Do I punch people in the face? I punch myself in the face. What are you gonna do? You know, these things happen.
You know, he tried filibustering. He tried humor. He tried charm. He tried ass kissing. But this episode started with him being, I used to be this person, and now I'm this person. And after 4 hours, and I mean, you see, he stops talking into the mic halfway through. He's just talking at me, which is a John thing. They both aren't doing a show. They're just getting the person they're talking to like them, which is why they're comfortable repeating stories they've told 1 million times because they don't care about the audience. They're just trying to get this person on their side. And I was on his side before we started. But this episode begins with, I was that, now I'm this. And by the end of the episode, he's like, I'm trying and one day I will be. After claiming all of these moments where reform happened, including twice within this episode. He says, well, now I've learned. Thank you for saying that. And when is that point ever going to end? It won't.
Adam, how much time have you spent in therapy?
A little bit, not a lot.
A little bit? I feel like that's the right amount. however much you've spent in therapy is the correct amount to spend in therapy, because I watch Howard Stern try to do the same thing that you're doing here and fail miserably at it every interview.
I explained that to him exactly. He talks about how he worships Al Pacino, and I told him I took a class from Al Pacino, and I asked Al Pacino a question about, how did visiting Shakespeare's home help you play Richard III? And Pacino said, look, buddy, because he knew that was like a dickish question, anything you do with interest will serve you. So you go to therapy with interest, and you'll get shit from it. You go there so you can tell everyone you went to therapy and you're fixed, and you'll be there forever, actually getting worse, because you'll have somebody validating your worst instincts and telling you you're a hero just for being here.
Well said, my friend. I feel like I've learned something today, and I don't say that very often on this show.
It's more than we can say for Joey C, but that's great, because Joey, we love you just the way you are.
We love you, Joey. Thanks for having Adam on. That was part 1. We'll get to part 2. And also, Adam was on Chrissy Mayer's show. We might break that down in Boston.
That would be great. I would love that.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Cool. I was watching you on Chrissy's show on Monday, and full disclosure, I was texting with Adam behind the scenes because I was reacting to what was happening.
Well, I was off screen for a good portion of it, so I was available.
Correct. That was what I was texting. All right. We have a lot to get to still. Brendan Schaub is miserable, and things are getting worse for him. Opie gets asked a question by Ron the Waiter that's actually fascinating, and I was very interested to hear the answer to that. Stuttering John was on Mike Kelta. We might not get to that. I don't know if we're going to get to that today. There's so much to get to. I'm once again over-prepared for the show. But before we get to all of that, people are trying to slow us down. They're trying to thwart us by going to supertip.gg/WATP. And that's where you can go if you really dislike us and want to screw up our show, like Mason in Portland. He says, I creamed myself over Adam's appearance on Joey C. Good shit.
Thank
he
you,
put that
Mason.
in before we did that segment, too. So
Of course.
that's great. Thank you, Mason in Portland. KFT coming in.
I went to a truck stop to get gas at midnight. 2 knickers took my shoes and glasses. I woke up in the back of a truck bleeding and my ass was sore. I was breathing harder than George Floyd. Skull.
That's not true. That didn't happen. KFT again.
I am only here for booze. The club-footed asshole next to me thinks he is cute with his fucked up teeth. I took an upper decker in his toilet. Also, I have Jenny's bras for sale.
Jesus Christ, producer Chris.
At least one of those isn't true.
I had to learn from Super Tip.
Yo! Adam, my nicker. First question. Do you have 911 on speed dial in case of an emergency? Because I'm too busy figuring out my teleprompter.
That's what I do is I dial 91, and then I wait to
Right,
dial
you're
the
ready to
last
go, yes. Siegfried Line.
What the shit? I'm more coherent than Joey C right now.
I don't know if that's true, but I hear what you're saying. Tim 422, member for 19 months, out fucking standing show. See you in Detroit. Yes. He's got his ticket already. That's fantastic. Nice. We'll see you in Detroit. And OG Mumble and Nick gifted a Who Are These Podcast membership. Thank you very much, OG Mumble and Nick.
Thank you, Nick.
Rocker Orby 2002, $2. Adam could make a killing as a speech coach. Is that your takeaway from that?
We didn't talk about accents. Christy and I get into that.
Yeah, okay. That's interesting, though. I like that that's the takeaway from that. All right. Adam, you know I've been on a beat lately. Of course, The Fighter and the Kid have been a podcast for 14 years. Brendan Schaub has been mocked across the internet for almost that long of a time. And so you'd say, well, there's nothing new about talking about The Fighter and the Kid. But I would disagree with that because The Fighter and the Kid have moved their show to Austin, Texas, because Brian Callen wanted to be closer to the mothership, Joe Rogan's Comedy Club. And Brendan Schaub, rather than take the hint, decided, all right, buddy, I'll go there with you. Let's go to Austin. And so he has moved his family to Austin, as well as the producer Chin. They have a new house. They are building a new studio. The studio, as we're going to see, was not built to be a podcasting studio. It's more of a garage. And, we know that Brendan's a big gearhead, so he's got his vehicles in there, which is great. But things are not going well because as Brendan finally gets to Austin, Brian's been there for months. Brendan finally gets there. All right, buddy, we're here together. We can do Fighter and the Kid live. We get on our schedule, get on a routine. It turns out that Brian's got a vacay coming up.
Yeah. Here we are, baby.
We're back, bud.
We're back. And I want to apologize for leaving again. But it's only 10 days, 11 days, 10 days.
It's 2 weeks of filming. You're missing 2 weeks.
I'm not missing 2 weeks. I'm missing.
No, because you come back on like a Tuesday.
Well, I'll come back on a Wednesday. Yeah, I'll be.
Brian, that's 2 weeks.
No, but we'll get a podcast in that week, so it'll be 3 shows I miss altogether. 3 shows. I looked at it. A total of 3.
4, because you come back on Wednesday. We'd have to film on Thursday.
Yeah, we'll film on Thursday. We'll film on Thursday. But you know what? Hey, look at me. We're filming on Thursday, but guess what? We'll get it in. That'll be our Thursday. We'll do it Thursday morning, and then so we only miss 3.
Maybe
we missed 3.
Like next week. So while you're gone on, what are you going cruise?
I'm going with the extended family.
I don't get it.
It's every June. Every June.
This is a meeting that should not be the beginning of the podcast.
No. I wish Brian would be like, how about we make it 10, you fucking asshole?
These guys are way too comfortable doing this show at this point because they're not taking it seriously at all. These are conversations you have with co-hosts behind the scenes, over text messages.
Good-natured ribbing or banter.
Before the show starts, you figure out. And also, I see this, and I go, how good is this show Thursday morning going to be? Brian's getting back from this long cruise in Europe, and he's like, all right, man, we'll just do it Thursday morning. We'll get together and we'll just do a show.
I can't wait to hear that obligation.
Yeah. There's no talk about, I have time to prep, and we'll go over this and that. It's just like, no, dude, we'll turn the cameras on for an hour on Thursday if that'll make you fucking happy. All right.
I don't think anything will make Brendan happy.
No, he's miserable. This is not going well for him. And when Brian would go on vacations when they were in LA, there were tons of people to fill in for him because they're in LA, and that's where all the celebrities and comedians and everyone are. Well, they talk about the fill-ins they're going to get for these 3 episodes when Brian's not on.
Well, it's my whole family, though. It's my dad. He's 85.
But cruises?
Well, it's a high-end cruise. We stop
Cruises
in
and
Barcelona,
Teslas, dude. 2 things I fucking hate.
No, but this is a great cruise. It's with the kids. It's great. It's fun.
But yeah, so you're missing 2 weeks when we just got here, so that's cool. But I got Tim Kennedy filling in next week.
That's a very good fill-in, right?
And then I'll probably have Catherwood fill in.
These are good fill-ins.
Are they? You guys excited about Tim Kennedy filling in?
I don't know who that is.
Oh, I got good news. It already dropped. So I'm going to show you a little bit of the podcast, The Fighter and the Kid, with Tim Kennedy filling in for Brian Callen. This is great, man. It's exciting that they have these people that can hop on here with Brendan Schaub.
The Fighter and the Kid.
Dude, awesome seeing you. I can't believe you're in Texas.
I can't either.
I'm like smiling ear to ear that in 1 week I've got to see you twice.
I know, dude. And I don't bother you. I know you're like, you have all your...
You have to fix that.
I know. I have some block with it, you know?
Get over it.
This is a weird thing, too. So this is a MMA guy as well. And Brendan Schaub is so uncomfortable. We're going to find out later in the segment that he doesn't even go to comedy clubs, which is the whole reason why Brian moved to this place, is all these comedy clubs downtown. Brendan doesn't go to them. He also knows people but doesn't want to bother them. Brendan doesn't know how to belong. He has no clue what he's doing here.
No. He doesn't
He's
understand that
uncomfortable.
this conversation he just had with Brian was Brian's worst case scenario of what's going to happen when this guy, when my mistress moves to where me and my wife live. He's going to start bothering me about how much time I'm spending with them and not enough. And it's been like a week, a couple episodes,
only
and
been a
he's
few- yeah, it's only been a couple
already
weeks.
feels like a jolted lover. This
Yep.
is really sad. He's supposed to be in the comedy clubs, finding people, discovering them, making a life for himself.
Yes.
Instead, he's really embarrassing himself. This isn't going to end well.
Well, no. And there's something so revealing about this conversation specifically. And again, this dropped yesterday or today.
Yeah, you're right.
We're neighbors now. You're a fellow Texan.
I know.
I'll have a pair of boots, a hat, and a gun for you.
A gun.
I'm literally in the process of. I'm not joking. I could pull my phone up and show the text as I'm designing a custom pistol for you right now.
Oh, I love it, brother.
Yeah.
I was telling you, I was a little heartbroken leaving LA. You know, I don't know if you felt that when you first moved out here. I was a little heartbroken, just the familiarity, the routine, the baseball dads.
Yep.
And then, as I was telling you off air, last week, T got invited to practice with one of the top teams out here.
Okay. T is Tiger. That's his son. who plays baseball. He got invited to practice with a team. Listen to this.
And it was the first time I was like, oh, I'm going to be okay, man.
Yeah.
It's going to work out.
Brendan is now basing this decision to move his entire family to Austin on whether or not his 10 or 11-year-old son, I don't even know how old Tiger is. He's not old. Whether or not baseball works out for him. That's A, lot of pressure to put on your kid. And B, like living vicariously through your son is not healthy. This is not a healthy way to live your life.
Very similar to why Opie wouldn't move.
Yes.
Because of the kids.
Yes, it's an excuse that these lolcows use for the things that are missing in their life because they think it sounds noble. And it's one of the, signifiers that lets you know Schaub is now officially a lolcow. I'm telling you, I can feel it in my, like deep inside when these guys begin this downward spiral. Even if I'm not interested in them or don't have a history, I go, oh, shit. And the same thing with Opie, the same thing with John. This is all the stuff John does. Guilts people for not spending time with them on air.
Yes.
Explains about how he's been dissed by other people off air to create sympathy, but then brags about how he's a hero because his kids are achieving. I'm in for the long haul with this guy because this is going straight down and he's just filming it without realizing it. Welcome to it, Brendan.
And I've been watching clips of him on other people's shows, on his own show. This conversation about his son being good at baseball is brought up on every episode. He has put all of his eggs in this basket. Like, no, it's good that I moved to Austin because there's great teams here and coaches, and he's going to get the coaching he needs to be a pro someday. Ooh, he better.
And the neighbors I won't hang out with are great.
Right. When he smashes their windows with a home run ball.
And I know he's been a locale for a while, but he's had power, success, money. It's this tragic decision that he's made that kind of intensifies the whole thing and makes it like the official free fall. He had things to cling to, like you're saying. Now he's got Tim Kennedy, who's making him a gun, who he doesn't feel comfortable talking to because Brian has fucked him up for all other people because Brian doesn't want to see him.
So getting back to this previous episode, Brendan's explaining that he's the one who came out there, got the whole studio set up, and did all of this work so that they could have the fighter and the kid in Austin.
Hey, after 14 years, my back hurts, and so does Chin's.
Chin and Brennan have been in this studio, building this place out, putting up lights, renting the place, leasing it, paperwork, all that stuff.
Oh, buddy.
I mean, everything.
When you go play grab ass when you're like on the lake doing,
I've been doing
here.
Stand up and I've been.
Oh, you just show up.
You know what I've been? About as useful as a cow chewing grass.
Yeah.
I've never heard that term before. That cow will someday be my steak. I find that very useful, but I guess I hear what you're saying. So now Brendan's trying to guilt Brian into being like, dude, we're doing all the work. We're the reason why we have the fighter and the kid in a studio out here in Austin. Let's talk about this studio they have. This is from a channel called American Redact. And this guy's done a brilliant job of breaking down what's going on the fighter and the kid set.
You have some current events, Jade?
Yeah.
Is it warm in here?
Yeah, we're sure. Okay, so we talked about.
I like the heat.
No.
AC.
We had them turn off
studio.
Yeah, you're getting a little moist.
Yeah, but the studio shouldn't be this way.
So this new studio is really bad, much worse than we previously thought. Because as you just saw, it gets extremely stuffy in there, since these storage units don't come pre-installed with AC. So to fix this, Brendan's got this industrial-sized air conditioning box in there that sounds like a leaf blower whenever it's turned on.
But I will say this, you're talking about tens of maybe hundreds of millions of Muslims around the globe, ignition of it.
What is that noise?
It's AC. It kicks on for a little bit. It'll turn off. Don't worry.
Yeah. But
so they're battling. They're competing. You hear the guys talking louder as the AC is running in this place. But let's not forget, it's not just about the AC unit. Let's remember, we play this on the show. There's also railroad tracks nearby.
Oh yeah, having a hard time finding meat. That's a train.
That's a train?
Yeah, there's a train that goes around.
Oh.
We're familiar with trains. We know how they work. Yeah.
This is a disaster. what's going on. Also, the lights, we saw this on the first episode, the lights turn on and off.
What's that?
All the time, and shit has to run down and turn it back on during
loud
the show.
for some reason.
And that's a tarantula.
It's a disaster.
We get to see a lot more than I think he realizes. This choice of studio, he went for aesthetic, and that's it. And everyone told, like, if you're location scouting, oh, it's next to a railroad, then we can't record here, next place. That's it, done. No air conditioning, it's hot, it's cavernous and echoey, but it looks cool. I'll buy it. That was it.
I need to do this fast because I need to prove my allegiance.
Right.
Yeah, make it look cool on camera. That's all I care about. I'll suffer.
He wants it to look cool, but he also is the gearhead guy who wants to bring all of his trucks and his vehicles in there. So he needed a big cavernous space. And he's like, we'll just make it both things. We'll make it my garage and the podcast studio.
Just like a John, just like anybody else. It'll be fine. We'll do it live.
Yep. So why are they in Austin? What's the whole point of this? Well, Brian explains, even though he's not carrying his weight, as Brendan was just saying, Brian will get talent and bring them on the show.
Well, no,
We'll go on vacation.
Now listen, I'm going to get us some great guests. I'm at the mothership. I'm at Creek in the Cave. We are going to have some great fun guests.
I've never heard. I've heard of Creek in the Cave. Is Creek in the Cave an actual
It's a
cave
great
in
club.
the creek?
It's a great club.
Oh, it's a club.
Yeah, it's a club.
See, I always think of like small red rocks and then the water's
It's
there.
like Vulcan Gas Company. It's like right there. Right. It's that whole section is it. That's a great club. I love that club.
That's cool.
Okay, this is insane.
Yeah.
He didn't know Creek in the Cave, the comedy club in downtown Austin that's right near the mothership and the other venue that they played when they did their live show. Like, these comedy clubs are all in this small radius. And that's the whole reason why all these comedians are going to Austin, is becoming the comedy mecca. Brendan's been living there for weeks, and he goes, yeah, tell me about this Creek in the Cave. Is that like a Red Rocks kind of venue? Nope, it's a comedy club.
He was hoping for an invite. He was, I've never been there. What's that like? He was hoping he'd say, come on down, I'll introduce you to everybody. Instead he said, nope.
Not for you.
Well, it's funny you say that. So Brendan was on another show recently called Autotopia LA. And Autotopia LA is a show about cars and whatever, gearhead stuff. And I think that they're even trolling him when they ask him about hanging out at the mothership.
Do you ever do stand up still?
No.
So when you're out in Austin, you won't be going to the mothership.
I'll probably hang out some, but again, it's like I don't get how guys do it. God bless them that do, but I just can't find the balance of getting back into stand up and being a good dad. I can't.
Yeah.
I just can't.
Yeah.
With everything I'm doing,
it's crazy. Guys like Tom Segura and Bert Kreischer pulled that shit off. And Tom Segura seems like he has like young kids, and he works it into his comedy and stuff. It's fucking funny, but
yeah.
And the wife, Christina,
she's also a traveling comic,
and they do the podcast, the YMH Studios, like.
And they, I don't know their personal life. They might figure it out.
Seems like they figured it out.
Wow.
That was great.
Isn't that incredible? Like, all right, so now you're living in Austin. I bet you're spending a lot of time at the mothership and, you're talking to all these comics. Nah, I can't do that. I have a kid.
Think about how many times he's clearly said that and never received a follow-up question.
Yeah.
He thought that was going to end there. Not like, what about Steve Martin wrote Parenthood? Bill Cosby based his entire life on, like, being a parent. Like, every comic turns being a parent into their new thing. Not for you? Fine, but don't act like it's fucking crazy.
Right. Yeah, so some people figured it out. I don't know.
The subtle implication that they're all bad fathers. Maybe Cosby, but...
The elephant in the room, I'm sure he was a great dad.
We don't know.
The elephant in the room here is that it's well documented that Brendan stopped selling tickets. Like, people saw his special and then his subsequent special, and they went, this guy's not good at comedy. And so he wasn't able to tour and be a comedian. And yet he throws out every excuse. I was watching this interview. He's just like, well, then I wouldn't get home until 1 a.m. And my kid wants to get up and throw the ball around. It's 7 a.m. and I'm hungover. And so comedy just wasn't working for me. He never says, yeah, I'm just not as good as these guys. I can't hang with these guys.
That's what we see from John. It's what we see from Opie. He can't do comedy because Easter's coming and he has kids.
Right. So it turns out Theo Vaughn, who they started the King and the Sting, the Wing and the Ding, whatever the Golden Hour finally became. But it started with just Theo and Brendan. And so Theo got himself far away. He went to Nashville. Said, I'm done with this. Theo's career has taken off since then. And apparently Theo checked in on Brendan recently to see how he's doing.
Yeah,
Are you critical?
Super weird too. Like he randomly texts me. I don't know if he knew I moved or something like that. And he's like, checking in, man, blah, blah, blah. You going through a tough time? And I was like, I just moved to Austin, man. Yeah, I'm trying to find my way. I'm heartbroken about LA. Yeah.
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 You did miss LA, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Fuck yeah. I miss my community, my routine, you know? I'll find it. And it's starting to happen.
Yeah,
you know?
you'll find it.
I talked to this guy last night, and he moved from LA.
Listen to this. I think he's lying. I talked to this guy last night story. Sounds like so made up to me.
And he moved from LA, and he was like, yeah, Texas is great, man. Best decision I ever made. He goes, but you should know it's no LA. Because you're going to miss, there's no replacing LA.
Yeah, sounds like a true Texan.
Now, Adam, I understand you live in LA. I assume that you like living there because you've lived there for a long time.
It's nice.
It's nice, right? You enjoy it there? This guy, Brendan Schaub, loved LA. All of his friends were there. Everything he did, his family's, all of their friends.
He's heartbroken.
Everything he was doing, he's heartbroken because he's not in LA anymore. So he talks to this guy. He's like, oh, I moved there from LA, and actually it's the best decision I ever made. But, it's not LA. It's not as good as LA. But then he gives this advice. And again, this is a fake conversation. He's making this up.
And I was like, oh, how long did it take you to get, back in routine and feeling comfortable? It was 3 years. I went, what? He goes, yeah, tough 3 years. Tough 3 years. I went, oh, shit.
See, I don't feel that way.
I went, hopefully it's faster for me than that. He goes, probably not. But you figure it's only 3 years.
Jesus Christ.
See, no one would talk that way.
No.
Oh, it's miserable for the first 3 years, but if you stick through 3 years, then it starts getting better.
Is this a loophole so he can suck for 3 years?
Could you imagine if you started at a job in a company and you're a new employee there and you go up to someone and you're like, is it like this all the time? This is toxic. It's awful. Like, oh yeah, the first 3 years are terrible, but then you'll figure it out. And then it's great. It's like, well, then I should probably quit now then, right? Because I don't want to be miserable for 3 years.
Oh, and also before you go, I'm going to lose things. I'm going to lose a lot of things. So just
all right. Good Stuttering John reference.
That was not a conversation that happened. No. He was not comfortable enough to say he's miserable and he wants to go home. And
he's
that's what he
heartbroken.
was trying to say through this, person he made up.
Yeah.
And I want to ask you, does it sound like that for everybody? All over modulated and distorted? Them talking?
Oh, it sounds okay to me. Oh. But it is very hot.
Yes, it's very, very hot.
It's very hot. Yeah,
it sounds like it's from the original audio. That it's kind of.
Yeah, I didn't do it.
Remember 2 weeks ago when he was shitting on his sound engineer for not buying a place yet?
Oh,
this is what happens when you shit on your sound engineer.
Yes.
They let you sound like this for the next episode.
It's
funny. Awful.
That's a good point. But yeah, he's heartbroken about LA, and I like that Theo Von just checked in, like, "Hey man, how you doing?" He didn't even know that he moved to Austin, even though the entire internet knows that. But not Theo Von. He isn't keeping tabs on Brendan Schaub enough to even know that. That's telling, right there.
Well, he's busy with his career.
We got Opie radio to get to. We got a game, 2 minutes with Tom, with the review girls. We got all sorts of things coming up. I do have the Mike Kelta clips. We might not get to that, even though I feel like
it's the first time ever mainstream, quote unquote, media brought up the Dabbleverse.
I know.
And asked John about it, which he never thought would happen.
It's so important. You're right.
It's historical.
It is. I talked a little bit about it with Drew Lane yesterday, but I have a whole different package here. I don't know if we're going to get to it today because people are screwing up our show by going to supertip.gg/WATP, like Stewie felt here. Says Brendan needs to acclimatize or he will stay miserable. Acclimatize?
Sure.
And that will be bad for his family. Yeah, I know. It's not good for his family, especially if he's just like, well, as long as my kid's good at baseball.
They say LA is like a liberal, democratic pocket. It's a progressive pocket.
It's not democratic, but yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Whatever it is. They say that, and there's truth to it. Well, you take that and you put it in a city that's surrounded by the exact opposite.
Yeah.
Their it grows harder and stronger, the resolve that those people have. And whenever you go through cities as a comedian or a comic like Austin, they want the opposite of what the rest of Texas wants very, very badly. And I don't know if he even realized that's where he's moving to. I think he just thought, Texas, it's all Texas.
Right.
No, Austin is a very unique place.
You're right. He keeps referring to it as Texas. I feel like I'm a Texas now. I'm a Texas guy. Austin would secede if they could.
Oh, yeah. And
they would love to not be in Texas.
Like Rochester is all of New York.
Right, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, all the time they're getting this feedback and they're fighting constantly. So he's up against it.
Stewie Fella says, does he think the mothership is a UFO? Who knows what he thinks? He doesn't know the creek of the cave. He doesn't know anything that's going on. Nick Tucker, remember for 4 months, says, hope you boys enjoy yourselves this weekend in the land of the 6-time champion New England Patriots. Skol! Yeah, we're looking forward to being in Boston. It'll be fun.
Skol.
All right, take some of these for me, Adam.
I'm me. I am me, and I've always been me since 5 years old. I spoke to Lay Diddler, and he does not miss Papa. What does that mean? Do we know what that means? Okay. I'm me. I've always been me. Once again, nice to see Adam is working the fryers at Chang's. I call it PFs, but thank you. Rumble Trenchcoat, a Columbo podcast. His other choice of studio was above a bowling alley and below another bowling alley. But it looked cool.
That would be pretty sweet, actually.
That's an awesome Frank Grimes reference.
All right. Let's talk about the Opster.
Ba 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 ba. Oh, skunk fart.
Babble, babble, babble.
All right, the yeah, we should get that on the board. The Opster is back in the Hamptons. He's back at the beach house, and he's very excited to give us all a weather report.
We gotta see this. We haven't seen the sun out here in about since we arrived, we haven't seen the sun. I think we've been out here 4 or 5 days already with not even a glimpse of the sun. Just windy, rainy, and cold. And with that, it's still way better than New York City.
I would actually watch his segments as a meteorologist on local news. He's so excited about the weather. He's passionate. It's the one thing he's passionate about. You know, Anthony brought this to my attention years ago. Opie doesn't have any passions in life. That's why he's so boring. That's why he doesn't have anything to talk about. The weather is something he really gets every episode. He gives us a weather report.
But he's mostly excited when he can complain about it.
Oh, yeah. And he usually does complain about it, so that works out well for him.
I don't know who he thinks shitting on New York is pleasing among his audience.
No, I think he just really viscerally despises living in New York, and he just can't help himself.
I'm going to have to assume that's where most of his audience was from and is still currently from, so it's not a smart move. Nobody. And again,
no one in his audience has it as good as he does in New York.
No, they
not
don't.
A single person. And yet he bitches up a storm and everyone's just like, yeah, man, you should see what it's like where I'm living in Brooklyn. It's a little worse than your situation, asshole, but thanks. Thanks for that. I do love that Opie's been singing The Doors a lot lately. Have you noticed that?
Oh.
For some reason, he's having a little renaissance period with The Doors. He's getting into it.
Scott Watson says, ain't seen the sun in 3 damn days. That's for sure. Cue up The Doors. Waiting for the sun. Da-na-na. Wait. I can't come up with the beat. Waiting for you to. That's what I wanted. Okay.
That's what you wanted? I'm a huge Doors fan. If someone was saying that to you, I'd be like, huh. I have to guess which band plays that song?
Mr. Hughes,
Chubbawamba?
it's time for your medication now. We need to bring you into the room.
What the fuck? Not even close. But thanks. Thanks for playing along. Ron has had a real problem with his audio whenever he does these streams because he's got this new Google phone he's all proud of. and he thinks that that's like a broadcasting studio, and it's not. And so Opie's teasing the segment coming up.
Yeah, right. No Ron, no like. I think we're gonna have Ron. I think I'm gonna have Ron the waiter on in a couple minutes here. He said to me, he's like, I figured out my audio. And you know me, I'm like a glutton for punishment. I'm like, all right, Ron, then why don't we do a live stream and let's see if you figured out your audio. You know damn well the audio is going to suck. You know it's going to suck. Are you inviting Ron to the beach? Hell no. No.
So a couple things going on here. First off, Opie's inviting a guest onto his show, assuming that it's going to suck. Yeah. What is that?
He needs someone to feel better than. And the people are getting so low and low to the ground. He's running out of people to feel better than.
Yes. So now he's like, do you think he got his audio figured out? I hope not. I hope it sounds like shit on my show. All right, Opie, remember that iHeart Media deal you just penned? You know, maybe you should start putting together an audio podcast people want to listen to. Or not. Whatever. We'll see what happens.
Maybe we could see your face once. Might help.
No,
I don't know.
Definitely not.
It's part of his 5-year plan.
So, and then he goes, was Ron ever invited to the beach house? And that's an enthusiastic fuck no. You think this guy's my actual friend? Yep. No, I use him. I humiliate him on my show. And when we're at Gebhardt's, I make him pull his shirt up so we can look at his fat belly, and we zoom in on his big fucking nose, and we put him out in the street in a whoopee cushion so he can scream things and we can humiliate him. He is not invited to my house, which leads me to believe that this is a whack packer to him. This is another Bobo that Opie is fucking with on the show.
Exactly right. Yep, that's what he thinks.
But he doesn't use him that way. He brings him on as a co-host and then tries to have a conversation with him. We're about to get there, but first, Opie has to talk about his feet. This is an important part of the show.
And then, I don't wear shoes again until September 15th. And then, my feet, if you need to know, they are gnarly when I get back to the city. It looks like I got like Frito chips for toenails. They're so bad from just wearing no shoes for 3 months.
I honestly don't understand this. Why would not wearing shoes have your feet in worse shape than if you were wearing shoes? Can't you still keep up with the hygiene aspect of it?
Makes sense. I don't even believe that's a real. Somebody paid $10 to ask him that?
Yeah. Did you toss the shoes yet? Cheers, my friend. He's got his guys on here that follow his stories. And he's like, when I go to the beach house, no more shoes. It's just sandals and barefoot. And he's just living fancy free like a 10-year-old.
Because you're unemployed. It's fine. Just admit it. It's the same thing in the city. Because you don't have a job and you don't leave the house.
Also, the fact that he has no shoes the entire summer, I imagine there's probably some pretty nice restaurants out in the Hamptons, right? Long Island, there's probably some places he could go where he could put some shoes on and enjoy himself.
If they're
What
living
did
in the
Fritos
Hamptons,
do to us? I mean,
yeah, why are they getting thrown to the bus?
Sorry, Ed.
No, I wonder if he's poor. I wonder if they have these houses, but they don't spend money on things. That's why he goes to the wedding by himself. That's why everything we don't see, it's all off camera.
Oh, that's interesting.
I don't think they go to nice restaurants anymore. They're cash. They don't have any cash. They just got to sell one of these things.
Yes, you might be onto something there. All right, so Ron does come on the show. He joins the show about 12 minutes in. And I don't know how he did it, but his audio is better. His audio is actually very good.
Opie's pissed.
Problem is, even though his audio works, his brain does not.
In Florida, they have like these special visas where they can come for like 3 to 4 months for the picking season.
Yeah.
What was I saying? The migrants.
It don't matter. I'm just so happy your audio works. I'm just so happy.
Isn't that nice?
What else is going on? You think we're gonna do something crazy in Iran?
Oh my gosh! So this is what I mean. Like Opie brings this guy on, and most of his questions are, "What else is going on?" So it's like Ron has to prep and bring stuff to Opie. What else is going on? That question. I don't know what he thinks he's going to get out of him. He's going to have a conversation. When they first started the show together, they talked about basketball for the first 5 minutes, and it was actually kind of interesting. I'm not interesting, but they knew what they were talking about. They're talking
Better
about,
than usual.
Yeah, they actually, both of them were adding things to the conversation that they understood, and they were bouncing off each other a little bit. And then Opie's like, okay, enough about basketball. Let's talk about geopolitics. Let's get into that. That's something that Ron definitely can't wrap his head around. And of course he can't.
To get the hell out of here.
However,
and one other thing I want to say about
Yeah.
Iran, Ron, because you're a babbling idiot. Let me in here for a minute. The people of Iran want a regime change, but they don't have anything waiting in the wings is the biggest fucking problem here.
So he calls him a babbling idiot. Opie goes, yeah, the problem with Iran, they don't have anything waiting in the wings. Ron actually comes back and goes, well, they actually have a king that's living in England who said that he'd come back if they want to have a regime change. And Opie's just like, he actually fucking knew something. Shit. I was trying to big time and act like I knew everything about stuff. But don't worry, Ron will fail again.
If you're from Iran, you're called a Persian. There's a massive Jewish Persian, what do you call it? Society here, or you know what I mean? Like they all emigrated when the Shah came in. But there's a huge Persian.
You're punching yourself out.
Yeah,
you made your point. You're punching yourself out.
I couldn't get the words out.
And you made a very good point, but you're punching yourself out.
Go ahead.
Jeez. I don't know what we're doing, Opie. I don't know what the plan is here. Do you want him on there debating you, making good points, carrying the conversation? Do you want him to just say dumb shit and then you say you're an idiot, stop talking?
Adam covered it. He's kicking him around.
I would go with the latter if you're going to do anything. Like, he's got to figure out a role for Ron because he's using him as a co-host is not working.
Opie's angry and he needs an outlet for it. And right now it's that guy. And I used to look at John because, we're from similar places and think, wow, that's a cautionary tale for me. But now I look at Ron and I'm just like, I got to hold it together. I got to keep it real tight. Real tight.
I'm worried for you.
I don't want to feel bad for Ron. I'm
starting
to.
I know. He's so obnoxious.
Yeah.
He brings it all on himself, obviously.
If we were on a lull, in the middle between two segments and you just threw on me like, hey, Israel and Iran, go. Like there'd be a discussion afterwards. Like it shows you how. I mean, he truly avoids saying whether he prefers Trump or Biden or anyone else. He likes to, but he thinks he has the nuance and the intelligence to just wade his way through it, just talk about it lightly and move on without having any strong opinions.
Yeah. Again, I don't know what he's hoping to accomplish.
It's delusional.
So then he gets into Joe Rogan talk. And of course, Opie doesn't know any other podcasters. He just goes, yeah, the reach is all with podcasting, man. Joe Rogan reaches more people than anyone. He doesn't know that there's all these other shows and all these other important players in this era, but he's just ignorant.
All three cable networks, CNN, MSNBC, and Fox together, and Rogan's still kicking their ass.
He's huge. He's huge. Yeah. And he started out, didn't he start out with you? Like, you made him, right? You should get, royalties or something. You should get residuals.
Well, he has admitted that the Opie and Anthony show was very influential as far as him starting up his shit. What else you got, Ron?
Oh, hold on.
So Ron's going, yeah, Joe Rogan, you got to start with you guys, right? Like, this is why the Joe Rogan experience exists. And Opie goes, what else you got? Which is a great conversation starter.
And ender.
It's a better ender, actually, when it turns out. It's the laziest way to use this guy, to just be like, what else you got? When he's engaging in a conversation with you. And what I love here is that Ron sticks to this plot and asks the question that I've been wondering for years now.
Yeah.
The Opie radio show was so influential at the time that, and you know what, it really rubs me the wrong way. I don't like the fact that one of your regulars, Sherrod Small, who really kind of ghosted you, is that the term the kids used? But he's still using you in capital letters to promote himself when he does shows in the Hamptons. It's Sherrod Small, and the very next thing below it from the Opie radio show, and then every other credit is not in capital letters. So he's promoting you to promote himself, but he ghosted you. It rubs me the wrong way. Well, it sounds dirty. It sounds like there's no appreciation.
Finally, someone brings up Sherrod Small. Hey, Opie used to do shows with Sherrod Small in the afternoon on Sirius. He was there with Carl Ruiz and Vic Henley, and you never see him on the show anymore. There's no mention of him. What's up with that? I didn't realize he was using the Opie radio credit to promote gigs that he had. That's interesting. So I'm glad that Ron the waiter, the guy that Opie's trying to treat like a whack packer, is on here to be like, hey, by the way, what's your relationship with Sherrod Small? It seems kind of fucked up. We never see him around or anything like that. And there he is, still using your name.
I'm guessing Opie never expected a compelling question like this.
No, nobody did. Everyone was surprised about this. So this is Opie's response.
I was a very stupid man, Ron. Like, I thought I was making real relationships with a lot of these people, but you learn. I've said this many times, and the regulars are going to be not again. But you know, when you sit in the big seat and you have that much influence in the comedy world, like a comedian would come on, some unknown, and a lot of these guys came on as unknowns. Bert Kreischer came on our show as an unknown. Theo Von came on as an unknown. Yeah. Joe Rogan, relatively an unknown, and as far as where he was going to go. Bill Burr started basically on our show. You know,
that's very interesting that Opie goes into this like list of comedians that I owe him, I guess. To say that Joe Rogan, he wanted to say he was an unknown. Joe Rogan had already been on news radio.
Yeah.
He already had a career in show business. And so he's like, well, he wasn't as famous as he initially got to. Sure. But is Opie trying to say that they had a good judge of talent and so they brought on guys that would become successful? Or is he saying that Bill Burr and Bert Kreischer needed Opie and Anthony in order to become successful? Like, which thing is he trying to say here?
He's saying he discovered them and they owe him.
Sounds like it, right?
Yep.
Because the way I see it and the way everyone else who were into Opie and Anthony back in the day, I'm sure Blind Mike would have my back on this, see it, is they go, oh no, Jim Norton recognized the guys in the clubs that he was working with who were really funny and could bust balls. And even when at the Comedy Cellar table were funny, it wasn't just in their act. And he started bringing them up as regulars. And that's why they got the cream of the crop, because these were guys who were going to take off and make it either way. That's how I see all of this. And good on Jim Norton or Opie or Anthony or whoever else for recognizing who was talented and bringing them in. I think that's a difficult thing to do.
If he could do it, he'd be doing it again right now.
Correct. Yes. So finally, let's address Sherrod specifically.
Some of the guys never turned their back on me. And when I was doing my last radio show for Sirius XM, I'm not going to lie to you, I loved working with Carl and Vic and Sherrod. Sherrod was great on my last radio show, but it was painfully obvious when those two guys died, Vic and Carl. Sherrod was like, I don't have time for you anymore because you're not talking to the same amount of people you used to talk to. It couldn't be more obvious. But Vic and Carl at the time, they were in it for the fun of it.
This is an interesting thing to say.
Yeah.
So he says, so I know this for a fact. He used to pay those guys $7.50 an episode. And that was Sirius was able to pay these guys who would come up and be on Opie's show for however long it was, 3-4 hours, whatever it was. He could pay him $7.50 an episode. And then he's like, now my buddies Vic and Carl, they're just having fun. They're in it for the fun of it. So it was great that they continued doing the show with me. Whereas Sherrod saw this as a job. And he's calling Sherrod out for that.
That is wild.
Isn't that interesting that now we're starting to see the animosity that he has towards Sherrod Small, something that has not come out before? It's finally rearing its ugly head.
He's willing to admit to having much less viewership to get to this point. That's not something he does often either.
Right. And if you are a comedian and you're going on these shows because you want the notoriety and you want to get in front of an audience and build that, what's the point of going on Opie radio that no one listens to or hears? If it's to hang out with your buddies, then just hang out with your buddies. The idea that he had a Zoom recorder he would walk around with and shove in people's faces would make it less appealing. Be like, Opie, if you want to grab a beer or something and want to go bowling, give me a call. I don't want to be part of this show that's embarrassing. We're talking to homeless people.
The problem with bowling and hanging out with you is that the dynamic is not that I'm in charge, so I don't enjoy that. So let's just go do this on my terms.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so we find out something, again, thanks to Ron for asking these questions, because we find out something about Opie and Sherrod's current relationship that I did not know.
Like, would you say to him, hey, dude, like stop using me to promote yourself? Like,
do whatever you want. He writes me every once in a while and says, I miss you, brah. And I'm like, well, then come do our show at Gephardt's.
Can I? Oh, so by the way, have you invited him to do the show at Gephardt's?
A ton. I mean, if people are paying attention, when I lost the show at SiriusXM and started up the podcast, Vic and Carl were all in. We were making no money, but we were having the time of our lives. And Sherrod came on just a tiny, tiny bit, just a little bit here and there.
He's been invited to Gebhard's, Sherrod Small? This I want to see. I want to see Sherrod react to Ron the Waiter and Matt and just be like, Opie, what are we doing? What is going on with the current state of Opie radio? I'm guessing this is a lie. I don't think Opie would want Sherrod to see this.
Right.
I bet he invited him a long time ago.
That's true.
A long time ago.
Actually, you're right, because Opie Radio, when he first started doing the Opie Radio podcast years ago, when we first started covering him, would frequently go to Gebhardt's and other bars and just pull out the Zoom recorder and start talking to buddies at the bar.
Right.
So I'm sure that was because Vic was there and Carl Ruiz was there. I'm sure it was like, hey, where's Sherrod? And Sherrod did show up a couple of times back in those days. But he quickly was like, yeah, this is not it.
And what is it with these guys always blaming anything that happens to them on the things they can't control, that they're a victim? These people died. There's nothing I can do. I had to be a father. That's why I can't do comedy. Why can't you just admit what's going on? And why can't Ron just say, yeah, why don't you pay me, Opie?
That's funny. Yeah, no, it's because you got all these people on the internet saying, no, it's because you're not talented. Oh, no, it's because this, it's because that. And your instinct is to say, you're the ones who are wrong. And I'm going to prove it. Because God forbid, like you were saying earlier, Adam, if Aaron Imholt would just come out and be like, yeah, I'm a cuck. I'm turned on by it. It's what I'm into. And everyone just goes, oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. That's what we thought. God forbid you own it and just be like, yeah, no, I'm actually not as talented as I thought. I needed to have the whole infrastructure of Sirius or XM radio or whatever in order to have what I had. I've learned that I can't build this on my own without it.
And he's shitting on people for not wanting to work for no money, but yet he feels, put upon anytime he's not getting as much money as he feels the current content deserves.
True, yes.
Where's that attitude there, Opie?
Yeah, are we just having fun when the radio station offered you $100,000 and, just do it for the fun of the game? Yeah, good point. Last clip I have on here, and he's talking about how Opie, back even in the day of Opie and Anthony, they'd have comedians on who wanted to be the only funny people in the studio. And so when other people had good quips, they wouldn't laugh at those.
When you're saying something funny, there were people in that studio that refused to fucking laugh.
Oh, I see. He's
and it didn't just happen to me. So relax, you stupid hater, because I know how you spin everything. It happened to all of us.
He catches himself immediately going, oh, I know they're going to spin this. They're going to be like, Opie's complaining that they were purposely not laughing at his jokes. Because that's in the back of his head at all times. Like, uh-oh, how is the thing that I just said going to be used on Unique's channel and WATP and Anthony Cumia?
Very Aaron-like.
Right. He knows.
Yeah.
He pretends he doesn't. He pretends it doesn't bother him, but we can tell it does.
Oh, yeah.
We can tell us what he's thinking about.
What is that quality that makes a guy like Jim Norton say something in a setting, it doesn't go over the way he wants it, and he's like, fuck, I got to fix that joke. And then Opie did the same thing, and he's like, you're all lying. It's a conspiracy, and you're all in on it.
That's a good point. So I've listened to a ton of Opie and Anthony, and then since then, whether it's Come Town or Shane Gillis or whatever, all these different shows where you have a bunch of guys who are just cracking each other up and busting balls. You don't get to choose when you laugh or don't laugh. It's involuntary.
It should be.
It's the given rule of comedians that if their mortal enemy said something funny, they would have to admit it. Like, that's just not how comics talk.
It's hilarious. All right, we do have a couple people supporting us, and we appreciate that, even though it is fucking up the flow of our show. Supertip.gg/WATP. Anonymous coming in. Imagine Opie doing the kill father / F mother bit from the Doors movie. I actually could. Yeah. Siegfried Line coming in.
If Ron doesn't do something about his foot, he's going to end up like Greg's other co-hosts, Fluid.
I believe is what we were going for there. Fluid. Tony Baloney with $5. Great job, guys. Thank you for taking the time to cover Opie. He's my favorite segment of your shows. Well, thank you, Tony. I am fascinated by the Opster and this Ron the Waiter character and how he's using him. So ridiculous.
I went to Ron's Instagram. Have you ever? I hate to do this, but have you ever seen Ron below the waist?
Well, I saw his tummy and feet.
It's not what I expected. It is shocking.
Hold on, time out. First off, that question. You were saying before if I asked you about Iran and Israel, you'd be like, we got to talk later. You and I are having a post-show meeting today.
That's fair.
I hope you know.
That's fair. Don't you ever ask me about people's bodies.
But please explain to me what you mean by that. Round the waiter below the waist. What's going on?
I assumed that what was going on here was the same thing that was going, and it is not. It just turns into this Jabba the Hutt endless, from this point on, it just goes wide, and it's very different. And I'm not trying to, I guess I am. It was just not what I expected. It was very shocking, and I advise everyone to go to his Instagram page and check it out. Ron Berman.
He's an unhealthy guy, I think is what you're trying to say.
I was shocked. Shocked.
Goat Melp. Member for 17 months. Hey, Carl. What's your problem with Zoom recorders? I've been listening to you bagging on them for 6 years. I got an H5. It's a fine machine. I have an H8. I used to have the H4N. Yeah. I gave it away. Producer Chris has a Zoom recorder. We record all the live Ice Tub shows we do on them. They're fantastic. They're not for live podcasting.
Right.
You don't carry them around with you. And Opie was even doing a thing because it's got the stereo microphones.
Yeah.
Opie was doing a thing where when he was talking to people, he was like moving the thing around. And so the voices would swirl around like an early Pink Floyd album. You're like, I'm tripping. I can't take it anymore.
He brought it on Guy Fieri's shopping competition.
He did.
And didn't know why he had it.
That's right.
I can't stop holding this thing.
He was on a game show on the Food Network because Guy invited him on. And there he was with his, security blanket.
Yeah, looking lost.
His Zoom recorder was there in his hand as he's on television. We're going to get the audio for you, Opie. It's a TV show. See all those microphones?
Should I bring my shoes?
Fucking idiot.
Yeah, toss them. What people do in place of an idea, in place of a creative vision, is just so embarrassing.
All right, I prepared a second Stuttering John segment because he was back on the internet twice this week.
I know.
It's too much.
It is.
We're over 2.5 hours in. I wanted to get to the Mike Kelta stuff. I have a lot to say about it. I have a lot of clips. Maybe we save it for Boston.
That would be
we got to save it for another time. I don't know if Boston is going to be relevant to dickheads or not, but we got to save it for another time, I think. Let me bring in my consultant on this one. Annie, what do you think? Do we save this segment for Boston?
The Mike Calta stuff? Yes.
Okay. Well, let's get a second opinion.
Hard yes.
Let's get a second opinion. Megan, how's it going? Uh-oh, you're muted.
There we go.
Megan.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good.
Good to see you.
I brought a hat.
Oh, look at you with your Mets hat. You're competing with my Cubs hat tonight. Now, Megan has told me she's a closeted Cubs fan, so I assume you do have a Cubs hat around there
No, I
somewhere. Oh.
This is going great.
Maybe it's in the budget. Maybe we could figure it out in the budget. All right, we're going to hold off on the Mike Kelta Stuttering John because we have an important game to play brought to us by our friend Cardiff, of course. Megan has not won this yet. I'm going to point that out again. Pressure's on.
Neither have I, so it's fine.
Maybe this time.
Annie, you've never won 2 minutes with Tom?
I would like somebody to do a fact check on it, but I'm positive I've never won a single round of this.
All right. Well, here we go. Everyone's lucky day today. Let's get into it.
It's time for everyone's favorite new game show. What do you say, ladies and gentlemen? And Adam Busch. Are you ready to find the bomb? Playing 2 minutes with Tom.
Did the $5 from Tom Myers? Oh, is this that guy who has like 5 viewers and is trying to grift off SteelToe too? God damn, I'm the man.
Yeah. I'm trying to grift. You're trying to grift, Aaron. That is all we are trying to do. Think we stream because we enjoy this? No, it's work. We all want to make a little money doing this.
Tom always has the worst comebacks. It reminds me of the comment that we read on my YouTube video earlier in this show, where Tom thinks that no one's trying to put on an entertaining show. Yeah, none of us are trying to do that. We just want people to give us money. We want to trick them into giving us money.
But I'll have you know I'm miserable while I'm doing it.
Yeah, and I also hate this. So you better give me more money because I don't even enjoy what I'm doing.
Take that.
I love how Aaron accuses me of grifting when he does like his entire stream is just a begathon.
And I love how you
don't get me wrong. Like I'm coming on here trying to get my monetization, but
he beats himself in arguments. It's amazing. He makes a point and he's like, and by the way, I'm also guilty of all of that. And I'm an idiot.
He had a good counterpoint to himself.
Yeah, and his counterpoint has word economy. It's 2 different people.
I'm just kind of starting out streaming and trying to find my way. So, but yeah, it's weird. Aaron accusing me of doing the grift.
Says, Aaron, do you know that the eyes and face are 2 different things, right? Did Nick's man juice affect your already fucked up brain? Tom, I'm going to tell you now.
If you want to, let's watch the moment where he's been triggered again.
Man juice affect your already fucked up brain.
Oh, see, notice that little something switched inside his head that said, oh, fuck, I'm being trolled.
No, he just realized he's dealing with an idiot. He just read something that makes 0 sense and he went, okay.
And his, I don't know if it's, his past coming back to haunt him, but, all that little, all the SteelToe lore catching up to him. That's the thing. People don't know that I don't pay attention to this shit.
What did Tom say next? Here are your choices. Number 1, it's beneath me. B, maybe if you said something interesting, I would. Next, but I do keep tabs on stuff. 4, except when I'm trolling. And lastly, I'm too busy prepping for my own show. And lastly, 2, you ate Nick's cum.
I hope Cardiff put in the I'm too busy prepping for my own show for me, because I got a kick out of that one. That's very funny.
2 minutes with Tom.
Okay, I always go first. I love the idea that he says, people don't know that I don't pay attention to this shit, but I do keep tabs on stuff. Mm-hmm. I'm going with next. That just tickled me because it's something that this idiot would say. What do you think, Adam?
Yeah, I like next too. It just sounds right because he's talking about how he doesn't pay attention to something as he streams Skyping, like as he's watching it. So
yeah, he catches himself going, "Oh shit!" But obviously, I do. I better say something. What do you think, Megan?
I'll go with next also.
Okay. Were you feeling that from the beginning, or Adam convinced you?
I don't know. I'm just gonna go with what you said because you'll probably win.
Smart strategy.
I want to be a winner.
Smart. Annie, what do you got?
I would agree with Megan because that was a really smart decision there, but I'm going to go with B.
Okay. And so she goes, if you said something interesting, I would pay attention to this shit, which would be also hilarious because he's paying attention to it. Producer Chris, what do you think?
I went with 4, except when I'm trolling.
Okay. Yep. There's no wrong answer here. He could also just say you ate Nick's cum.
Yeah,
That's what I would have said. Oh, yeah? Well, you ate Nick's cum.
That would be the best one, which is why it's definitely 2 or 4.
Okay.
I don't know if it's his past coming back to haunt him, but all that little all the SteelToe lore catching up to him. That's the thing. People don't know that I don't pay attention to this shit, but I do keep tabs.
Nice.
Tom, I'm going to tell you now.
Okay.
I don't know who you are.
It's okay. Nobody does, or not a lot of people know who I am. It's
Megan, I should have listened.
You're good.
You should have.
And I'll be honest, you're a little bit of a creep.
Oh, look who.
I will say that was the best rationale I've ever heard, Megan. Carl said it, so I'm going with it. Smart. Because I'm a winner. I'm fuck off. I don't like your sarcastic laugh, sir. Crushing it at this game.
Who's fucking talking? Look who is talking. Look who's talking.
It's just my
Bruce
initial
Willis?
impression. That's all. I've never seen any of your work. I'm just saying, you and I have never interacted before.
Oh, we're going to interact. We are going to interact. We've only just begun.
Sounds like a threat.
Yeah, man.
I'm just going to go with you're probably a weird internet guy, and I'm probably pretty goddamn accurate on that one.
What the fuck do you think you are, Aaron?
I have no argument here.
Yeah.
No argument whatsoever.
Even Tom's just like, yeah, all right, well, I'm a weird internet guy. I mean,
Look at the screen. Everyone here.
just calling balls and strikes.
This episode has been brought to you by patreon.com/Cardiff Electric and Cardiff Electric's new YouTube channel @Cardiff Elect. This has been Cardiff Electric, your friend till the end. I mean, it's probably coming soon. I'm not really committing too much.
Sit, Eugene, sit. Good dog.
Let me just give props to Cardiff again. He did a show today talking about Chad's stream from this morning, and he was celebrating the death of Ski Mask. And so Chad acted like he was going to stand by that. He didn't give a fuck, and they took it down immediately. But Cardiff thankfully reviewed that for us and did a fantastic job. Also, it looks like Cardiff will be joining us in Detroit at the Magic Bag, themagicbag.com, September 12th. Get your tickets. Cardiff will be there.
The Spud Shark.
The worst selling point of them all. Cardiff will be there. And Dave Landau and whatever. But anyway.
Why are you glossing over Megan's win on this? Come on.
Megan, congratulations.
Yay, thank you.
On your first victory. Who else got one today? Adam?
Yeah.
I did it.
That's why we're on the top row right now. Look at us. 3 winners.
I like to believe that after all of this time, we've learned something about this person.
Yeah.
This actually looks like a medal ceremony, if I'm being honest about it.
Oh, what?
A medal ceremony?
Oh, I was
like
thinking
the Olympics.
Medal. Gotcha.
You know, I'm obviously in the middle with the gold, as you guys can picture right now. Of
course.
It's that humble leader we all admire so much.
That's me. All right, we got a lot of notes for each other after this show, I have a feeling. Guys, thank you so much for being here and supporting the show. We've had a great audience tonight. Daniel Poon, Ron the Waiter suffers from redwood legs. Is that what your observation on that, Adam?
I don't know what that is, but I'm sure it's correct. What is that, redwood legs? I don't know.
Different from club feet, maybe.
You'd have to ask Carl. That's not
That
mine.
sounds mean. KFT, Wednesday shows rule. Don't watch Saturday shows. What?
No need. Skip them.
We're not going to have Husey on every Saturday, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
Come back. Come back to Saturday. Jim Larison, $20. Hope Boston and Detroit shows are amazing. Next show, maybe Chicago. I'd go back to Chicago.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
That was great.
We went to the White Sox Cubs game. It was one of my favorite events I've ever been to. And I didn't watch any of the baseball game. It was just nonstop fighting in the stands. Goat Melp, $5 says, okay, cool, but which recorder do you recommend for live interviews? I don't do them, but it's nice to know I could one day if Adam was available.
Oh, we're already booked. We have it set up on the calendar, so I'll see you there. Looking forward
You
to
could
it.
totally use a Zoom recorder if you plug mics into it.
Yeah, you can use an
and give
external
people
mic.
mics.
Yeah.
He was using, I don't want to get into it. He's using a Zoom recorder incorrectly. It's not how you record a podcast.
Omnidirectional. There's unidirectional. It's very boring.
Yeah, let's not get into it here. I noticed in the private chat, Annie, that there's 2 new reviews. Do you and Megan each want to take one for us? We'll try to guess how many stars came in.
Sure. I will take the one that came in from Canada. This one
Okay.
says, great stuff from Son of Boar. Thanks for mining this gold and sharing it with all of us.
That doesn't sound like they followed directions.
No.
Sounds like it's just a plain old 5-star review.
Unless they're being sarcastic. But
That's true. It's possible.
You're right, Carl. Unfortunately, it's a 5-star.
Okay.
I'll take it.
We'll take it.
I appreciate that. Megan, can you find the other review? It's at the top of the spreadsheet there. Or am I throwing you for a loop? I didn't tell you this might happen.
It's okay. I have it.
Okay.
Megan has like one job, right? This is it. This is the thing.
No,
This is her
she
bit.
also has to win at 2 minutes with Tom.
Oh,
Is this supposed to be funny?
Is that the one, Annie? Yeah, Annie says yes.
Okay. What did I just listen to? These guys are about as funny as Mario Bosco is tall.
Not bad.
That's pretty good. Does he want a writing job on the show? Is that the whole thing?
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's a 5-star.
Yep. It's a 5.
Nice. Well, thanks, guys. Don't forget to get over there and review the show. It helps with the algorithm, gets more people listening and watching, and we do appreciate that. Annie, people should check you out at insanity.com.
Absolutely. Eventually, I'm going to start playing Red Dead again, probably right after Boston. I had some tech issues, but I'm fixing them, so I should be back up ready to go soon.
Excellent. And Adam Busch, I know you've been producing some music lately.
Oh, yeah. There's a new record by an artist named Jamie Levine that's out right now. I encourage everyone to check out. There's a single called Real Nice Friends, and I will be in Boston at the City Winery on Saturday with WATP. Very excited about that.
Yes, that's going to be a great time. When you produce these albums, do you perform any of the music?
Sometimes. I do.
Yeah.
I'll
Get involved.
whatever's needed. I can play a lot of different instruments. I'm not great at any of them, but I can play them enough to get through a song, and if something's necessary, I can always hop in.
We work with this guy Doug White at Watchman Studios, and he's like our engineer, but he's also the producer. He produces a lot of this stuff for us. And I remember going there in my early days, and sometimes he'd have bands in there, and he'd like watch the guitarist. He'd just be like, "All right, hand me that." And he'd just be like, "I'll do this part for you." Like he could tell what he was trying to do, and he'd just take it and play it. Sometimes that's what producing is.
It is, especially if the band's going to let you do it, then you should have done it.
Right, because time is money.
But if you really cared about that studio, you would wear their T-shirt on WATP and promote them.
Yeah, he's booked. He's booked up. He's fine.
Okay, very good.
More notes for Adam after the show.
He's literally told me not to promote his studio because he's booked out far into advance. So,
What was
he's
that
fine.
John used to wear on the Channel 9 show?
Right? Yeah. I think that was a studio, right?
Yeah. He used to, instead of paying them, he would just wear the T-shirt.
Yeah. All right, let's hit some voicemails.
Businessman.
Let's hit some voicemails, and then we'll get out of here.
Hey, Carl, listen to the podcast, and I had to go to YouTube to find that Skinny Chad interview, and he looks exactly like I thought he would. I don't know where the pit is located in that apartment, but I know there's a senator's daughter at the bottom of it, and Goodbye Horses by Q Lazarus is playing in the background, and there's a suit being sewn no one wants to see in that apartment, so, what a neat guy. All right, shoot.
I just want to say for the record, my friend Skinny Chad Zumock is very normal and well-adjusted, and I don't like all of these heinous rumors that are going around.
Right. I love that guy, and I'm so excited that I'm staying with him at Boston.
Oh, are you guys staying together?
Mhm.
Okay, can you please disarm him before he goes out to the show?
I will try.
Thank you. Just pat him down for us. That'd be great. King of Portugal calling in. And by the way, I can tell you this number is from Portugal.
Carl, King of Portugal here. How's everything? Great news. I'm packing up. I'm getting on the plane, and I plan to land in JFK to go to Manhattan in like 10, 12 hours. You know what I'm going to sightsee? You know what I'm going to try to find in New York? Do you? The great Greg Opie.
Yes.
And good news. I look like a fat Ben Margera. Maybe I can meet his wife. Who knows? Fingers crossed. Cheerio.
Oh, wouldn't it be great if King of Portugal becomes one of the tourists that Opie tries to mess with when he's walking around the streets of Manhattan?
Please.
One can only hope. That'd be amazing.
You're going to find that Opie hasn't had a family for a long time.
Deluxe coming in.
Carl Deluxe. I think I know what kind of girls Ron the waiter has dated, and I'm not kidding. Definitely tunnel bunnies. I don't know if they're still around, but girls are hanging around. But tunnels in New York City, definitely a lovely crackhead African-American woman has gone down on Ron the waiter. Man, he is fucking, dude has got just the most annoying traits, the Boston accent and the whole super Jewish thing. Peace!
I agree with all those sentiments. I just didn't think to take it into a sexual fantasy. I didn't.
The super Jewish thing was probably not wanted. You know anything about these women that he's talking about, Adam? You're from that area.
He's just talking about hookers that are hanging out by
They're not-
for the bridge and tunnel
Yeah.
crowd. But look, nothing he said is offensive. Opie's the one who made that guy go out onto the street and sing Fiddler on the Roof.
That's true. And he wasn't very good at it, it turned out.
No, why would he be?
Adam Busch's career is now an SJ Focus podcast? Damn straight it is. And he's proud of it.
America.
Hey, I think you guys missed it when you were listening to the fucking John thing, and the dude goes, you know, how did I took her for granted, and the guy goes, how'd you take her for granted? And then he goes, oh, I stopped sleeping with her, and the guy goes, well, that doesn't. I mean, what he meant was, now I can't bang her whenever I want. I took it for granted that I had that piece of meat I could fuck all the time. That's what he meant. How'd you take her for granted? Well, I stopped fucking her. I wish she was still here so I could fuck her. That's what he came up with, that fucking drunk loser. All right, later. Vinny's fat.
That's interesting. He took it for granted.
Yeah.
Is that possible? You agree with that?
I think it's definitely possible that taking her for granted was a thing. For granted was a thing.
I don't know. We're all saying
God,
it.
It's making me very frustrated. It's like he knew he had to say that phrase to her and in therapy, and maybe even his lawyer said, but he does not know what it means. So when he's
Right.
pressed for an example, he comes up with bullshit like that.
I think he does know what it means because he stares at all the empty beer cans and the fact that there's no dinner ready for him. And he goes, this didn't used to be how it was around here.
But he used to sit when in his family we're all laughing with the wife and the roommate and everyone having a great time in the kitchen, and he's drinking alone in the bedroom because he wanted to drink. I think he looks at all those cans and he goes, smart decision.
Yeah, I think so too. I think he's like, no, I played my cards right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anything about this Ron the Waiter jackass, but I've been hearing you guys talk about him for the past little while, so I decided to look him up, and somehow he looks just as fucking retarded as I figured he would. Opie, won't you stick a big cock up my ass? What is up with that fucking voice? Jesus Christ.
I don't remember him saying that, but he has a card. That's for sure. Oh,
I find myself mimicking Opie's over-the-top voice just sometimes. Like, I don't even care.
I know I do it too much now. It's not healthy. And I know you're familiar with this, right?
Why do you have that?
Someone sent it to me in the mail because they hate
Why?
me.
No. Here, let me ask you a better question. Sorry. Hey, Jen, why did you let that in your house?
Megan, you familiar with Sonic Chew?
No, but I was going to say it does look like Sonic, but in a Pikachu face.
Correct.
It's
It is
cute.
Sonic Chew. Yes. It's invented by this guy named Chris Chan, who was arrested for having sex with his mother. Neither here nor there. He transitioned to become a woman before he did that, so it's fine. But here's a voicemail we're talking about this.
Carl, I'm listening to the latest episode,
And I'm hearing you talk about this fucking Sonic Shoe medallion, dude. And I'm telling you, don't fuck around with that thing. Don't fucking touch it. And whatever the fuck you do, don't put it on. I know 3 people who have worn that fucking thing.
Yeah.
Nick Rekieta, iDubbbz, and Dick Masterson. It turns you into what you are not.
Yes.
It made iDubbbz into a huge faggot. Dick Masterson has a fucking wife and a child now, for fuck's sake. It's you put that fucking thing on, and the Isotopes are going to turn into a barbershop quartet, and you're going to marry your dad. Don't fucking touch it. Trust me.
That's the
Don't call
most
me back.
accurate voicemail you've ever had.
I think you're right about that. I was talking to Dick about this on The Biggest Problem, about how we saw him open this up on the stream. And I think Ethan Ralph was there and Vito Giswaldi. And they both got up and ran out of the studio like, whoa, we don't have nothing to do with that shit. I'm not superstitious. But if my life does fall apart, I'm blaming that. Because I think that's how superstition works, right? You wait until after the fact, you go, oh, this is why that happened. And then Ed will be like, Carl's a lolcow. He's playing with this shit on Sonic Shoe.
I'll be too busy taking the low octave. Boom, 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 boom,
Yes. You're in, man. Let's go.
I fucking love Husey, and fuck anyone who doesn't like him. He's pretty good, I think. Smooches.
People don't like Husey? I don't know what Reddit is.
News to me.
Never heard of it.
They're used to those like drunk British comedians that are secretly brilliant, and underneath all of that fluff are like, you know, brilliant little poems. He's like just the drunk part. Not the poems. You just get the.
I thought there was going to be a compliment coming, but no, there was
no,
not.
me too. I keep waiting for that funny, and then it just kind of trails off. Gotta
Well,
love him.
this next voicemailer, this is why Stuttering John actually is helping humanity, even though he doesn't realize it.
Yo, Carl, what's up? I think I have to thank you and Stuttering John for bringing awareness and clarity to my life. I hit 270 days of sobriety today.
Nice.
And I think it was because, I know it was because of all the shit I heard about John. So, saw a little too much of myself in there and fucking righted that ship. So, yeah. Thanks, John.
Congratulations. That's awesome. 270 days of sobriety. I've gotten this note from so many people who have said they watch Stuttering John on this show and go, I have to quit drinking. This is not going to get better. And that's what we bring here on WATP. We don't actually follow those same orders, but we hope that others will.
We like our lives,
but it's definitely a lesson to be learned when you watch this show. Here's a question for the ladies of WATP.
Carl Deluxe again, sorry. Would you rather, for the ladies today, the Elephant Man or Ron the Waiter? I don't know. It's a toughie.
Who wants to go first?
Is that Fred the Elephant Boy?
No, this is a different thing.
And I think it's the original
then
film
I'll
Elephant.
take the elephant one.
Yeah. Good answer.
All right, we'll send you.
I'll go with Annie on that one.
Okay, you're both taking the Elephant Man.
Yeah.
John Merrick.
All right, we'll send you a photo following up on this. Gary in San Diego hasn't called in a minute. Megan's neighbor calling in.
Hey, Carl. A week or so ago, John was all hot and bothered. He had lined up one of his attorney friends to go after both you and Shuley for violating his right to privacy.
Publicity, but yeah.
He had a cease and desist letter, I think, sent to you guys.
Demand letter.
And whatever happened to that? I haven't heard anything since. Have you received any lawsuits?
No.
What's going on?
We might, though.
Rock and rolla.
Gary, I don't know if you know this. We didn't play it on WATP, but we did put together a response to that. We read the whole thing on Point Dabble Point. So check out Point Dabble Point. We did have a whole response to the demand letter for $600,000.
Yeah, it was fucking great.
Oh, good.
I love that.
Thank you.
I played it for my boss, my other boss.
Oh, you
today.
did?
Yeah.
He's like, this guy Carl you work for is a real prick. Adam, this one is for you, my friend.
Hey, this message is for Adam Busch.
I know you're probably busy getting interviewed by Corn Diff or something. But please, for the love of God, do not let up on this Fletcher Daniel motherfucker. I just visceral anger listening to that fucking song you brought. And he's thin-skinned enough to be like the folky musical Starving John. I mean, as a Bob Dylan fucking fan, I just wanted to fucking strangle that goddamn song. For fuck's sake, just don't let him slide. Just keep at it. It's like Meghan Markle. You know, these people, these terrible, terrible people, they are terrible, absolutely terrible. Anyways, just don't call me back.
No shit.
Thank you for saying that, because honestly, I have not let up on him, and I encourage you to go to the comment section of his videos. My comments are starting to get a lot of attention.
Oh yeah, sweet. Are you getting famous over there, Adam?
It was just I go on with these conversations with him that go on for pages, and all of my comments have like 100 likes, and all of him has none, and then it goes 100 and then none, because everyone's trying to say the same thing to him that he won't get, and he's doubling down on creating new videos of the same clip of song that's annoying people. He's trying to lean into it, and that only makes it worse, and I can't stop. So I'm glad to know there's others that feel the same way.
I've gotten notes from people who have also said you got to keep talking about Fletcher Daniel. So that caught.
He's got a new album coming out.
There's something there. I haven't heard his old album. It's all new to me.
I've only heard these same 2 10-second clips that I'm obsessed with.
It's powerful music. Maybe you don't get it, Adam.
I do not. I don't.
Maybe you just don't get it.
But I didn't like A Complete Unknown, so what's wrong with me,
Fair enough.
I gotta go. Bye. I gotta go. I gotta go. I gotta go. I gotta go.
What a show. We've been on for hours and hours. I didn't even get to all the stuff I wanted to get to because there's just too much. We got to start figuring out what we're doing on Wednesdays.
We're doing it all.
We're doing it all. We've done it all. We're doing it all. Adam Busch was here. Adam, you're the man.
I've learned it all.
Always great talking to you. Producer Chris.
Thank you.
Helping us out. Megan was here to read a review and win 2 Minutes with Tom. Congratulations. Very happy for you. Annie, of course. She'll be in Boston with us.
I'm so excited. I'm leaving tomorrow at like 2:30.
Annie, my bodyguard. Wait, you're flying, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Jesus Christ. When you say you're leaving tomorrow at 2:30, I'm like, you're not driving to Boston.
No, we want to get in early so we can like hang out and do like the Boston Cop Slide and other stupid shit before we hang out on Friday.
Cool. Again, we got to figure out where we're hanging out on Friday night, but I'll get in Friday evening and we'll go out and we'll figure it out. So,
Annie, do you know that you have your own couch or room at Skinny Chats? Has that been discussed, or what's going on over there?
It's a pit.
What, at his house?
Or
do you have to put the lotion on your skin?
Dungeon cave. Yeah, I don't know how he lives. I'm open to whatever.
I don't know anything about his house. I would be so fascinated to learn more about it. I've been in his show, but we're staying at a hotel right across from the venue.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank God. I feel so much better.
Yeah, he's not from Boston.
Okay. I thought I was going to have a really long meeting after this.
Okay, bye.
Go fuck yourselves. Have a good week.
Carl, I love you.
A plane has hit. I rewatch iCarly.
Boom. Fuck his mom.
Boom.
Boom.
Are we done here? I think we are.
Welcome to Who Are These Podcasts? White Power.
Okay, bye.
Shouldn't be this way.
Shouldn't be that way.